Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome in. Guys, we've had a never-ending crash out today from Andrew Kolvet. Yes, a never-ending crash out. I don't know if you got to see it. I don't know if his job's in jeopardy, if his liberty's in jeopardy. I have no idea what's going on with this guy. I have rarely, if ever, seen a PR professional crash out like Mr. Kolvet has done over the last, I don't know, 18 hours or so. It's been bad. It's been really, really bad. Hardcore drinkers do this when they get a little out of control. They get manic. Drug users sometimes do this. I'm not accusing him of either. He might just be undisciplined, but we will examine that as the time arises to do so. But welcome in. We're going to have a big, big show today. Like many of you, I spent a good chunk of the day reviewing the preliminary hearing from Utah. I had one goal in mind. I wanted to scale the mountain. I was promised a mountain of evidence. I was told there would be mountains of evidence. There's a mountain of evidence. I didn't see the mountain. If I'm being honest, I saw no mountain. I saw grainy footage. I saw hearsay. I didn't say it, but he said, I saw a lot of trust me, bro. I saw no mountains. I don't know when the mountains are coming. Maybe they're small mountains. Maybe we're quite literally making mountains out of mole hills. But I'll be honest. Not only did the government not show anything that would even approach reasonable doubt at a regular trial, I think if the judge had to rule based on today alone, how could you even find that it continues on to a trial? I mean, that was ludicrous. And we will go through some of it. Including cameras not working. Well, stop me if you've heard this one before. Next thing you're going to tell me is that Jeffrey Einstein's camera stopped working in the Manhattan Correctional Center facility right as he took his own life. Next thing you're going to tell me is the camera above Tyler Robinson while he was eating a steak at the Penguin Steakhouse, that stopped. Oh, yeah, both of those things are true as well. And the cop's body cam stopped working. Guys, there's a bunch we've got to go through. I do want to set the stage. It is day one, and I've kind of shied away from trial coverage or I don't want to say trial coverage because pretty much a lot of what we've done the last 10 months has been preparation for the trial. But I've shied away from kind of a blow by blow of daily court hearings. And I'm going to violate that a little bit today because I thought there were several interesting things that needed to be covered. So we will start at the beginning and we will work our way through. I have a good opening that I kind of been holding it in the tank. I wasn't sure when I wanted to do this opening, but today was the day. We had the Kolvet crash out that necessitated the opening, but we also had Stacey Sheridan and her two girls show up. Well, that was kind of harsh perhaps, but Stacey Sheridan showed up for the trial. She all of her showed up for the trial and very little of it was covered. And so she sort of had handler vibes. Andrew Kolvet all day has basically admitted to having handler vibes. And so it was the perfect day to talk about handlers, particularly handlers when it comes to assets that don't know they're being handled. This is something specific to the spycraft arena, but it is not rare. It happens quite a bit. And today seems like a perfect day to talk about it because in the terms of spycraft, a handler is someone who directs an operation and they do it on behalf of a principal. Rarely is the handler the organization that wants something done. They usually hire some sort of an in-between. It's typically an intelligence agency, but it can be any kind of an organization. The person being controlled by the handler is called an asset. And it's entirely possible. And in fact, it's quite operationally common for someone to function as a handler while the asset remains completely or largely unaware he's being handled. In these scenarios, the agency or the organization still treats the interaction as a managed intelligence operation, but externally, it relies on deception. It relies on intermediaries. And it's accomplished through manipulation, sometimes subtle manipulation. The asset in this situation that we're talking about, where the handler is not known to be a handler from the perspective of the asset, It's sometimes called an unconscious agent or a floater or an unwitting asset. And what we have here is an unwitting asset in this situation that will provide valuable information and perform useful actions, all while not realizing they're assisting any kind of intelligence service or any other kind of organization. For example, an unwitting asset might believe he's talking to a journalist. He might believe he's talking to an employee or an employer. He might believe he's talking to some sort of a consultant or even a romantic interest. The unwitting asset believes his interactions with the handler are benign, nothing more than participating in some kind of normal professional or personal relationship. But because the handler is working with an unwitting asset, the handler then extracts information, and they do it through a series of elicitation techniques rather than direct questioning. You know, in a typical spy situation, you would just sit the asset down and say, "What'd you learn today?" Well, you can't do that if the asset is an unwitting asset. So these subtle conversational methods rely on the exploitation of human psychology. And it can happen through a number of techniques. The handler can flatter the unwitting asset. And that happens, you praise his expertise. You encourage him to share more. You really build him up. You just gas him up. And the asset just loves it. Most people cannot resist flattery. The handler can share exciting or interesting information. And the handler will share a small piece of information. And hopefully that will trigger the unwitting asset to reciprocate in a big way and really divulge a great deal of information. The handler might make provocative or false statements even about a topic, and then the unwitting asset cannot resist the urge to correct the record. That's the best way to get the truth on any kind of social media, is to make an incorrect statement. People will fall all over themselves to correct you, and then you get your answer. But if you just ask for the answer, it goes unheard. No one gives a rip. So you pretend to have this limited knowledge, and it can warm up the unwitting asset to give better explanations, detailed explanations. And then there's everyone's favorite trap. It is so irresistible. It's probably more irresistible than flattery, and that's gossip. A handler can build quite a bit of rapport with an unwitting asset through gossiping about some juicy topics. And these techniques are often deployed, and they're ongoing. They're ongoing. They sometimes last years, sometimes decades. And that way the target never really feels interrogated. Handler relationships can be pretty complex. Sometimes they use cutouts or layers of separation might be employed. And that ensures the handler remains available if the unwitting asset cuts off the relationship or starts to move in different circles. A handler may never meet the asset directly. Instead, the handler may use intermediaries who they themselves may be witting or unwitting assets. Organizations can use these unwitting assets for a lot of reasons. There is, frankly, a lower operational risk, and there's a reduced chance of the asset defecting or being turned if the asset doesn't know he's an asset. It's also clean, very clean. It's cleaner for the handler. It's cleaner for the handler's organization because it gives them plausible deniability if the operation is exposed or goes south. And there are some people, perhaps most people, who just won't accept the role of being an asset. It's a little deceptive. And so using unwitting assets gives handlers access to all these targets who would never knowingly work with intelligence communities or even some other organization who wants to exploit them or use them. But internally, from the perspective of the organization, there's not a lot of difference, whether using a witting or unwitting asset. The handler still validates the asset. The handler still tasks the asset with accomplishing certain objectives. And the handler still reports the intelligence up the chain. The asset's simply unaware of the full context. The asset doesn't know the handler's true affiliation or role. And because we're talking about sensitive operations, detailed examples are pretty sparse, but they're known. They're known. We have clear patterns. We've documented cases, particularly during the Cold War. And there's some examples from modern corporate espionage. But this is the spycraft. This is a trade craft that's taught in the community. During the Cold War, for example, both the West and the Soviets, they extensively used unwitting assets. They sometimes referred to these unwitting assets as useful idiots. These useful idiots were nothing more than individuals going about their ordinary lives, but who either advanced a cause or maybe shared information without realizing they were being manipulated. The KGB ran very sophisticated active measures, and they would plant disinformation, and they would do it in obscure publications. And they were using unwitting journalists or activists, and then they would amplify those messages in the mainstream media. There was a guy named Oleg Kalugin, a former KGB officer, who described operations that exploited genuine social grievances in the United States, things like racial tensions or equal rights for women. They would forge documents or letters. They would inflame divisions. And they would know that unwitting reporters and activists would spread the material. They couldn't help themselves. It advanced their cause. Journalists and academics were pretty frequent targets of unwitting conduits. There was a famous commentator named Walter Lippmann. Walter Lippmann had a secretary named Mary Price. Turns out Mary Price was a Soviet agent. Mary Price accessed and copied Lippmann's materials from his files. He had no knowledge of it. And what she gave to her organization was valuable insight. And she just passed it up the chain. Lippmann himself met with individuals that were later identified as Soviet intelligence officers. And he did it under journalistic cover. He remained unaware of their true roles until the operation was exposed. Similar dynamics played out with other influential writers and thinkers, political figures who served as unwitting sources of context, access, or even documents. In influence and disinformation operations, this foreign and domestic cultivation of networks, I don't want to say people who believed they were engaging in legitimate political or culture exchange, but people who were doing it whether they believed it or not, they became unwitting assets. And that unwitting asset was for the purpose of propaganda or even intelligence collection. In more recent decades, economic and technological espionage has seen a significant rise in unwitting assets. You had Chinese intelligence services. They've been linked to operations where scientists, engineers, even executives of big companies were invited to conferences. They were paid for speaking engagements. They collaborated on projects in China. Unwitting assets often shared technical details because they thought they were just participating in normal conversation. And these are just a few of the well-known examples where the operation was exposed and the handlers and unwitting assets were identified. What they do is they illustrate a core truth of this type of spycraft. Effective handling does not require the asset's awareness. Deception, psychological subtlety, real compartmentalization. They allow handlers to extract value. And while they're doing it, they maintain the operation's secrecy and value. The asset may never learn the truth, or they may only discover it years into the operation, even sometimes after the operation is concluded. The consequences of an unwitting asset uncovering the operation can be disastrous. The unwitting asset may begin to evaluate all of his interactions in his entire life. Interactions with the suspected handler or handlers. He may even grow suspicious of nearly everyone around him. It's a profound breach of trust. And profound breaches of trust often come with widespread fallout. And that's because the handler's role is fundamentally about control and collection. And this control and collection comes within a very high-stakes environment, a very secretive environment. So while he was an unwitting agent, the unwitting agent provided safe and plausibly deniable access. But when that safety and plausible deniability evaporates, the handler and the handler's organization must take decisive action. They have to protect the operation at all costs. And in spycraft, we know sometimes assets must be neutralized or liquidated to protect the operation. And that is your opening statement. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I do. I mentioned it today because I am beyond convinced Charlie was an unwitting asset. Period. End of story. You'll never convince me otherwise, particularly after Andrew Kolvet's crash out today, and particularly with the arrivals of different people at the courthouse. It was a very strange set of arrivals. I want to start with, I'll get to Andrew's crash out in a minute. I want to start with just the arrivals. We have some video footage of different people arriving at the courthouse at different times. This is Erica Kirk arriving. You'll notice she comes in a side door or a back door. I predicted this to several people that she would not walk into the front door. And I think that's probably smart. I think that's probably smart to take a high-profile figure who is the basically victim in this case, as recognized by the state of Utah, and allow her to come in the side door. I have no problem in the world with that. I know a lot of people were bent over backward, been out of shape, I think is a better way to explain it. Me, not so much. This one bent me out of shape. This is the arrival of Charlie Kirk's parents. I want you to see how they arrive. I think I got this from Brandy Siciliani. I'm trying to give people credit. I don't know where I got the first one. I want you to watch how they arrive, and I want you to pay particular attention to this tallish blonde lady with the angry haircut and no top, or at least she has a top on, but only half of a top. I want you to pay attention to her and how she acts. Now, she's sitting there waiting for Charlie's parents. Like, she's been there. She got dropped off already. She could have gone into the courthouse. She was invited, presumably. But she doesn't go in. She waits in the parking lot for Charlie's parents. It really doesn't say anything. But she just stands there in her Erica Kirk 7-year-old haircut. And here come Charlie's parents. Charlie's dad's the bald-headed fella in the charcoal business suit. His mother, obviously the one she's holding. Now look at Stacey Sheridan reach out to grab the dad, and the dad just blows by her. And notice how Stacey Sheridan is not wearing courtroom attire. She's wearing stripper attire. I don't understand who dressed that woman this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been in a lot of courtrooms. The girls usually are put away before you go into the courtroom. That's just I'm just accustomed to that. And I've seen people wear Philadelphia Eagles jerseys into courtrooms, but their boobs aren't hanging out. Like, they put them away before they go in. They might wear a Philadelphia Eagles jersey, but it covers the cleavage. Not Stacey Sheridan. I don't know what message she's sending and to whom, but that's how she chose to go into the courthouse today. It just shocked me when I saw it. I thought, oh, this is what the day's going to be like. I thought this was going to be pretty mundane. No, we got softcore porn. Okay, hold please. We've got more. We have Erica's family, her mother and father, and her. During the testimony, when it got particularly tense at an early juncture, we see them exit the courtroom. I was a little surprised by this because I thought that they were told I thought they told the crowd they couldn't come and go except at breaks. That's pretty standard in a courtroom.
The media was not going to film exhibits.
There goes Erica.
And they're filming the ones that are on that screen.
I guess other people are. That girl kind of looks like her, so I'm thinking she's related somehow. I don't know if this is her sister, her niece, I don't know who these people are. I think this blonde girl in the front may be her sister. I went and looked up a picture of her sister today, and it kind of looks like her. This kind of looks like it could be a niece, and I guess that would make this kid a nephew, maybe?
Just need to clarify that.
But I don't know. But so they kind of came and went, and the judge was gracious, and he said, you know what, she's going to be treated like the victim. Well, I understand she's able to kind of come and go, but, to exit a whole row from a courtroom, it's a little distracting in the middle of the courthouse. So I don't know how the judge is going to handle that going forward. We also got word today, ladies and gentlemen, and for reasons I cannot explain, reasons I will never understand, we heard that there was potentially Secret Service in the courthouse because Don Jr. showed up. Donald Trump Jr. is inside the Provo, Utah courtroom for the preliminary hearing in the murder of Charlie Kirk, per our Fox reporter inside. This is Matt Finn, who is basically like a giant simp for Erica. It's really shameless how he kind of covers his case, but I don't hold that too much against him. Who else showed up? Sergeant Shekels showed up. It's unbelievable. This is why I thought we were going to get a mountain of evidence. I thought we were going to get a mountain because Officer Tater Tots was there. Yes, Officer Tater Tots was there. Let me see if I can blow this up. I don't want to make it too small for you here. That's probably all I'm going to be able to get. Brandon Tatum looking like he's on Ozempic. Here, we'll watch this one first. There's a very Ozempified Brandon Tatum walking in. And then on this side, we have Agent Poso. Jack Posobiec walking in. So a little weird, if I'm being honest. Like, this isn't a wedding, you know? Had a little red carpet feel to it. I was expecting people to like, Agent Jack. Jack Posobiec, by the way. Someone pointed this out. I can't remember who pointed it out. But I went and fact-checked it, and it's true. Jack Posobiec was a Navy intel officer. That's fine. Everybody's allowed to be a Navy intel officer. But he also went to work for Steve Bannon after he left the Navy intel service. At the time, Steve Bannon was buddying up with Jeffrey Einstein of the Einstein Files and Einstein Island fame. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything. That's like 2 degrees of separation. It's pretty close. Pretty close. I don't think I'm 2 degrees separated from the man, but maybe others are. And so I want to give you a little overview of kind of what I saw today. And then I want to talk to you very briefly about the purpose of these hearings, why they exist in the first place. But I want to give an overview of the judge. Judge Tony Graff has gotten a lot of grief. And a lot of people think he's just a little too buddy-buddy with the prosecution, rules a little too harshly against the criminal defendant. I did not find that today. Granted, it's just day one. I didn't watch all of it, but I thought he was fairly neutral. He may have given a little latitude to the prosecution. He did rule against them when it was particularly egregious one time. I do have one clip I want to play of the judge, though. This was, frankly, a little shocking when I saw it. He was watching the footage of Charlie being taken down. I got the volume off here. He was watching the footage of Charlie being taken down. Let me pull the volume off. Watch his reaction when it happens. And then I'll raise a question, but I want you to watch it first. You'll know when it happens. There. So that was it. And you can see he's clearly disturbed. I mean, those were involuntary movements of his seat, sitting up, sitting back. And then his eyes, he had that 1,000-yard stare afterwards. I want you guys to go back to the first time you saw it, because I don't know that he had seen it before. I want you to go back to the first time you'd seen it. I made a bigger reaction than that. I was sitting in this very chair. I was talking to a friend of mine I've known for 15 plus years, a very active political figure, who called me to let me know about it. And we were on the phone, and I was thinking, it can't have been that bad, you know? Because the first image I saw was the very far away image. It was the first kind of video that circulated about the whole thing. And you really couldn't see what happened. You couldn't see any of the gore. You couldn't see the location of anything. You just saw kind of the shirt move and him, like, them push him over. And so it kind of looked like he may have gotten winged, maybe in the shoulder or something, you know, like jerked and then fell over. And I thought, well, we'll see how it goes. And so I start looking around and thinking, is there a better angle? I shouldn't have. And I've watched it 1,000 times in preparation for different shows and just trying to figure out what happened. But I wish I could wipe it out of my head when this is all over. That's not something people should see. No one should watch someone be taken out like that. And I remember just gasping when it happened. I was on speakerphone because I don't hear well. I can't hold the phone to my ears, but I was on speakerphone. I was like, and he goes, what? And I said, don't watch it. He goes, I won't. I said, don't. Whatever you do, don't watch this, please. It was that shot we've all seen from right up front. And I can imagine if the judge is seeing this for maybe the first time or a new angle for the first time, having that reaction, that little flinch. Props to him for not doing what I did and gasping like a 9-year-old girl. Because I did. I absolutely did. But it gave me insight into this judge. If that truly was the first time he'd seen it, or he hadn't seen it very often and it truly shocked him to the core, and that wasn't just good acting, and it didn't look like good acting, it looked like it was the first time he'd seen it. Props to the judge for not doing what we tell everyone not to do and they immediately go out and do. You swear in a jury and the judge says, all right, you guys are now the jury. Do not look at anything in this case. Don't go on the internet. Don't read the local newspapers. Don't watch the local news. You're only going to hear about this case inside this courtroom. And the first thing they do at break, you can watch them. They're all on their phones looking up Twitter and Facebook and local news coverage and message board. I mean, it's human nature. It's human nature. You want to know as much as possible. There's always this FOMO. There's got to be information they're not letting us have. It doesn't look like the judge did that in this case. And all I can do is take my hat off to him and say, if Judge Graff, if you truly just watched that for the first time, or one of the very few times you've ever seen that, props to you, sir. Genuinely. I mean that. Because it tells me he's taking his job seriously. And I don't know if that's true or not. Now, maybe he was a good actor. Maybe he's a good actor. But for those of us who've seen that over and over and over, we don't have that reaction. We just don't have that reaction. And so that's kind of my thought on the judge. He did an okay job. You know, like I said, gave a little, perhaps too much latitude to the prosecution, but it's the prosecution's day. The bar is very low. We know how he's going to rule anyway. This is Candace called it a show trial or a show hearing on X. It kind of is. It kind of is. You can indict almost anybody or whatever. I don't know. Indictment's more of a grand jury term, but you can press charges. You can proceed to trial. You can against anyone. Like the bar is that low. You just have to, like, honestly, this is how low the bar is today. If they would have just shown up and said, we interviewed somebody who said he did it and they saw him and they were like, all right, you're going to trial. You've got an eyewitness. Like, you don't have to have any more than that. Hearsay of someone who you said saw it. That's enough. That's enough. Now, did we even get that today? Well, we'll cover that in a minute, because next I want to talk about the prosecution and defense. There was a lot of discussion for the last 10 months of whether the defense is sandbagging Tyler Robinson. I don't think they are. I thought they did a pretty good job today. They were prepared, but I think the prosecution was prepared. I think they were competent. They knew the rules. They knew their objections. They objected at the appropriate times. They didn't object at times that were inappropriate. The defense's cross-examination of the one witness was particularly good, I thought. I don't know that. I mean, there was one time she asked kind of a follow-up question that in hindsight, I bet even she wishes she hadn't asked, because it sort of let him wiggle out of testimony. Probably would have been cleared up on a redirect anyway. But, you know, you let them make them work. Don't clear it up for them. And there was one time where he asked a question. I was like, ooh, don't ask that. Let them go back and clean it up. But whatever, you know, I'm not going to argue with them over it. They did a good job today. It was not a bad job. Now, let me get into just a minute or two, because I have to. I have to, because people don't know what a preliminary trial is, a preliminary hearing is. This is not a trial. The standard here is not reasonable doubt. The purpose of this is not to determine whether Tyler Robinson is guilty or innocent. It's not to determine whether he will get the death penalty or life in prison. That's not what was done today. A preliminary hearing is a limited pretrial screening process. All you're trying to do is determine whether probable cause exists. In other words, do you think the prosecution can make a good faith effort and not going to waste the judicial time and not going to unnecessarily keep this guy against his will in jail waiting on this trial? Are they going to be able to produce at least enough evidence for a jury to consider, even if it's not great? That's it. That's all that's happening here. Now, the defense, for their case, can challenge the evidence in these preliminary hearings, but it's not going to the sufficiency of the evidence. It's not going to the weight of the evidence. It's going to the sufficiency. As long as the judge determines the evidence is sufficient to clear that hurdle, nothing the defense said really matters. And I heard this a lot from people saying, it seems like they're conceding a gunshot. Well, who cares? There's no jury here. They don't have to go through every theory. All they have to do is try to knock out the sufficiency of given witnesses. And I think they did a pretty good job today. And I'll go through some of that in just a minute. I don't want to go line by line, but we'll go through some of the highlights. Now, what is the standard we talked about? In a trial, I'm going to come way up here. Almost absolutely certain. Like almost no doubt. Now, reasonable doubt. You can have weird doubt, like maybe Charlie had a heart attack and it burst his neck open. Okay. I don't have to rule that out. Like as a prosecutor, that's not my job. I don't have to rule out stuff like that. We're just talking about reasonable stuff. Was there another shooter? Was he killed by another means other than a gun? Was Tyler Robinson the guy who did it? Was it someone else? Like those are the only doubts I have to rule out as a prosecutor. That's reasonable doubt. That's trial. Here, I don't even have to deal with all that stuff. I don't have to even rule out all this in between here and here. I just have to kind of get to a middle ground. Just, kind of, is it more likely than not? I mean, that's a pretty safe way to say it. And as long as you can get there, he's going to trial. And I don't want to spoil the surprise by the end of the week, but they're going to trial. I mean, I just cannot imagine a scenario where this judge is not going to let this go to trial. So what about the rules of evidence? Because I was watching several feeds today. I watched probably 8 different feeds of people covering this. And probably half of them did not understand why some evidence was coming in. They kept saying, hey, this is hearsay. It shouldn't be coming in. And at trial, it won't. But at the preliminary stage, it will, at least in Utah. Utah has a weird quirk. It's called 1102, and it's embedded into their constitution. And this 1102 rule that they have says that at the preliminary stage, they don't have to abide by the rules of evidence for evidence that's going to go in front of a jury. They're allowed to use what's called reliable hearsay. The judge is the one who determines whether it's reliable, not the prosecution, not the defense. They can both make arguments, and I think the defense made good arguments today that some of the hearsay wasn't reliable. The judge let it in anyway. But regardless, well, there were 2 instances where he didn't, but regardless, I thought they did a pretty good job of at least laying a foundation, a record to review on appeal in the event Tyler loses. And that's their job, because you kept hearing over and over the defense would make this unconstitutional hearsay objection. And I saw all over X, I saw in different feeds, all the comment sections, everyone saying, what is this unconstitutional hearsay objection? If the judge has already ruled on it, why do they keep raising it? Here's why. We talked about Miranda a few weeks ago. Miranda rights, that you have a right to remain silent. Do you know how many people raised the issue before the Supreme Court finally considered it and ruled in favor of Miranda against Arizona? Thousands, maybe tens of thousands of criminal trials. People went in front of the judge and said, Judge, my guy confessed, but they didn't tell him he had a right to remain silent. And the judge said, there's no requirement to remain silent. Then they said, well, we're raising a constitutional objection. It violates his Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, that he's not aware of his right. And the judges would say, there's no one telling us we have to issue this, so we're not going to. Well, eventually, one day, one of those cases, actually 4, made it to the Supreme Court. They combined them. They called it Miranda versus Arizona, but I think it was 3 or 4 different cases that were kind of smushed together, all examining the same issue. If a guy confesses but didn't know he didn't have to, do we have to give him a new trial? And the Supreme Court finally said, yeah, you know what? After 100 years of hearing this and saying, we're finally going to say, yeah. And so what they're doing is they're lobbying an objection in front of the judge to say, Judge, you know this isn't right. This reliable hearsay stuff sucks. We don't know who said this. We can't test it. We can't cross-examine them. We're allowed to attack the sufficiency, but then we can't attack the sufficiency because the person who's in charge of the evidence isn't here. And one day, some appellate court may look at that and say, you know what, you're right. And so you raise the objection, even though you know you're going to lose it at the trial court level. I don't think the judge could sustain that objection if he wanted to. I don't think Utah law would allow him. It's in their constitution, it's in their code, and their Supreme Court has said it's okay. The judge, if he ruled in favor of the defense on that issue, the judge would be out of line. He would be making an illegal ruling. It would be an activist judge. We don't like activist judges in this country. Or we don't. Some people do, but I don't. I think judges should follow the law, even when they disagree with it personally. And I think that's what the judge is doing. He's following the law. An appellate court may come later and say, you know what, we agree with Tyler Robinson's counsel. But I don't think the trial court judge has that ability right now. So I don't blame the judge for overruling it, but I also don't blame Tyler Robinson's lawyer for raising it on every witness. They should. In every exhibit. They should. Because one day a court is going to have to look at this and say, what's going on in Utah? It's not right. It's not right at all. Now, I did speak to somebody today who told me something shocking. And before I get into the evidence, I want to get to this. A lot was made today about camera footage, video footage, pictures, and what we got was a mountain of trash. We got grainy footage. We got stuff you can't see. We saw a car that kind of looked like Tyler Robinson's car pull up on a Ring doorbell camera, and it looked like you were looking at it through the ocean, like it was on the bottom of the sea, and we're at the, I mean, it was horrible. You could kind of make out that maybe somebody stepped out of that car, but you could not tell if it was a skinny guy or a fat guy, a Mexican, a Chinese guy, a black guy, a white guy, a woman, a man. You could tell nothing about who got out of that car. We've all seen the video footage of the guy scampering across the roof. You can't tell anything about that. Not a single person on earth can honestly sit here today and say, I know that's Tyler Robinson. You can't. You can't. But you know who might have had images? You know who might have had footage, camera footage, still footage, moving footage of Tyler Robinson or anyone else or something else that might have happened that day? Every media person in attendance. If I wanted to capture all of the high quality footage from that day, including all of the high quality cameras that were trained on Charlie Kirk at the moment of the Big Bang, maybe somebody pick up something walking through campus, maybe Tyler Robinson or Lance Twiggs or some other co-conspirator. Maybe rule out that it could have been somebody else in the crowd that did it. Who's the first person you would call? Well, you would want to call somebody with a master list of every media person who was there that day. I know that person's name. Her name's Aubrey Leitch. She used to work for TPUSA until very recently. Aubrey Leitch is the person, the singular person who approved all the press passes that day. You know how many people have reached out to her to determine who was there and who might have evidence that can either exculpate or convict Tyler Robinson? Nobody. Nobody at TPUSA has reached out to her. No one reached out to her while she worked there and said, hey, do you have a list of everybody who was here? We'd like to contact them and make sure they preserve their footage. Maybe give us a copy of it. We're interested in who killed Charlie Kirk, how and why. There are a lot of rumors going around out there, and if we had all the footage, maybe we'd be able to assist. Not one person from TPUSA reached out to her. Nobody at the Utah County Sheriff's Office, who was tasked with investigating this crime to determine who killed Charlie Kirk, how and why. No one from the Utah County Sheriff's Office reached out to her. No one from the FBI. The FBI has considerable resources when it comes to looking at individual crimes. They could have taken this in. They could have run it through AI programs. They could have at least cataloged it and preserved it somewhere as some sort of central repository of truth. All the high quality camera images that were there that day, all the 1080 video, the 4K video, all the high quality 32, 64 megapixel camera shots. Nobody from the FBI reached out. And shockingly, probably more shockingly than anything, nobody from the prosecution and nobody from the defense reached out to her to ask who was there. Who from the media was there? Instead, we're just grabbing footage that's floating around on the internet and trying to run down who posted it. That's what we're doing. That's how we're solving the Tyler Robinson case. That's how we're solving who killed Charlie Kirk, how and why. We're counting on interested people to have put it on X. I think it's pretty shocking. And if I'm the defense, I think I'd jump up and down and make a deal out of this at some point during the trial. You guys did not investigate this. You had an opportunity to contact every newsman there. And there were a lot of news people there, a lot of media there, shocking amount of media, frankly, for an event that size, too much media. And you had people calling at the last minute to get media passes. But they don't know who they were. Nobody called her. Why? Wouldn't you think somebody would have? I do. I think somebody should have. I think somebody should have if they didn't. All right. Let's go through some of these clips, some of the big moments from the day. The first witness was a guy named Chris Bagley. He sucked. He was a disaster. If I'm this guy, I'm getting out of town. I'm changing my name. I'm wearing a wig, shaving my mustache. I'm getting out. This guy sucked. If I'm being honest, if I'm the prosecution, I'm like, is there a way we can try this case without this guy? I'm not sure you can. I'm not sure you can, but he sucked. He was horrible. I do want to run through a little bit of his testimony here because it was a little shocking, frankly. It was a little shocking. All right, let me play this small sliver here, and we'll talk about it.
Did you make it to the rooftop?
I did.
Do you know about what time you got there?
I got it there at 12:44.
Okay. What did you do when you got on top?
Let me just say that. It was 21 minutes from the time you heard the big bang at 12:23 until Officer Bagley waddled over there by 12:44. 21 minutes. We've read the probable cause affidavit. We'd read the charging documents. This is the first time we've gotten to hear from him live, this Bagley guy. He was the first one to respond. He was positioned at the top of the Hall of Flags. The Hall of Flags is that roof that was above Charlie Kirk and behind him. And he hears the boom, and he scampers down the stairs. He hangs out in the courtyard for a minute. Well, I don't want to give away the whole thing, but he hangs around in the courtyard for a minute, finds a gun holster, walks past it, doesn't catalog it, just walks past it. And then he heads over to the Losi Center. Why? Because he, in his expert determination, found that the Losi Center was the obvious place that a gunshot would come. It's noteworthy that he's the only one who would have had eyes on the Losi Center, the only one who could have possibly had eyes on the Losi Center. And video footage suggested he did. Video footage from the moment of the bang suggests that's where he was looking. Yet he didn't see anything, but he knew where to go.
When I got on top, I hopped over the guardrail. I noticed that there was an object which was sitting right about 10 or 15 feet in from the other side of the guardrail in the gravel. That looked out of place to me.
And in relationship to where you hopped over the guardrail, what direction was that object?
To the west of the guardrail.
Okay. And did you recognize the object?
I did.
And what was it?
It was a red and black screwdriver.
Okay. Did you touch that object?
I did not.
Okay. I am going to refer the witness on your screen, Officer Bagley, to State's Exhibit 3.1. Let me know when you see that.
Yes, I see it.
Do you recognize what that is?
I do.
And what is that?
That's a picture of the screwdriver that I saw that day on top of the rooftop of the Losi building.
Okay. And that's how it appeared on the roof that day?
Yes.
Is that a fair and accurate portrayal of the screwdriver you observed and found that day?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state offers State's Exhibit 3.1.
Ms. Nestor?
Your Honor, we renew our standing objection and object on the grounds that there's no foundation laid as to when the photo was taken or by whom. Thank you.
All right, let me pause this for just a second. So that's the finding of the red and black screwdriver. Now, you would think, because this is, after all, 2024 or 2026? No, 2025 is when it happened. 2025. You would think that this would all be documented somehow. He just found a critical piece of evidence, by the way. He found a screwdriver. There's no evidence that Charlie Kirk was shot with a screwdriver. Don't get me wrong. But the screwdriver comes into play because of the absurdly ridiculous story we're told that Tyler Robinson climbed to the roof of the Losi Center with a gun in 2 or more pieces. We're not sure how many pieces. Used a screwdriver to fashion it back together. Somehow maintained a near perfect zero, meaning where you're aiming is where the bullet will go. And scurried off the rooftop with all the evidence. Oh, but he forgot the screwdriver. Unlucky him. Unlucky him. Now, you would assume that would be documented. We're familiar with body camera footage. Officer Bagley? Was it documented? It was documented, right, Officer Bagley? You documented it, right?
While you were on the roof, did you encounter any spent casings?
As a matter of fact, no, that's why when I saw the prone position where a person would be laying down a sniper, being around guns and snipers all the time, I was looking for a spent shell casing. I couldn't see one. I was looking over the edge, looking all over the place, making sure the gravel wasn't disturbed, and I couldn't find a shell casing at that moment.
And that would be, the reason you would be looking for that was because some types of guns, when they shoot, eject a casing automatically, right? Some
Yes.
do, some don't,
Yes.
right? And then you also didn't find any unshot bullets.
No.
Okay. Are you aware of there being a bullet found on another roof in
I'm
the
not aware.
vicinity? Were you aware of another bullet being found on the scene, not on the roof of the Losi building?
I know.
All right, your body cam footage that I reviewed appears to end while you're still on the roof. Do you know why that is?
I think the battery went dead. It was just right at that moment.
Okay. And do you know, did you ever turn it back on that day or go get it I don't know, what do you have to do? Charge it or stick a new battery in it? I don't even know.
Usually dock it, but no, I didn't go back. It was too chaotic.
Body cam footage died. At the critical moment, the body cam footage died. I was on the roof, scouring evidence. I was just about to find the fatal screwdriver. I mean, the critical screwdriver. I was looking for spent casings. That pesky body cam. Oh, it died. It died. Oh, it died. Yeah. What do you mean it died? Well, it just ran out of juice. Well, that's interesting. I'm looking here at some body cam footage. I just wanted to know what kind of famous body cam footage companies are out there. Here's Provision. This is a common body cam footage. Recording duration and storage limits. Full shift recording strains department resources through increased data storage costs. Battery limitations also affect recording capacity, with most current generation cameras providing 10 to 14 continuous hours of continuous recording time. Wow. 10 to 14 hours. That's amazing. That's amazing. He got there at 11. 12:44. That's only an hour and 44 minutes. Well, that must be an unusual model. Well, no. Here's another common model of body cam that police officers use. The Axon Body 4. Purpose-built to be an incredible camera. This camera has a 13-hour battery life, ensuring the camera is a reliable full-shift partner even when real-time services like live streaming are used. Oh. So body cam footage is supposed to last 10 to 14 hours, 13 hours? And you got an hour and 44 minutes, and at the critical moment, right when all the marbles are at risk, all of our chips are in the middle, we're down to the felt, the cards are about to be flipped over, the body cam footage dies? That's a little Jeffrey Epstein for me, if we're being honest. It just is. It just is. It's the 3 minutes of missing footage in the middle of the night. It's the cameras were broken on that wing. Sorry, guys, I'm not buying it. I think that's trash. This is the guy who found the prone position. You want to see what the prone position that he found looks like? You guys may complain and say, well, but your screen is only recording at 1080. Guys, this guy was talking about knee prints and footprints and elbow prints and rifle prints. Where are all these prints, sir? The gravel over here looks more disturbed than the gravel that you're saying is the prone position here. And we might believe that you found it in this condition if your body cam footage didn't die. You're the worst witness I've seen in a long time in any trial. I can't believe they led with you. This is a disaster. And we're only like 1/3 of one witness in. Now, let's go back to the radio scanner. Here. Let me back it up just a smidge to give you a little more context. Here is the radio scanner from that encounter. Listen for the word screwdriver. You would think if he saw the fatal screwdriver, that would be the first thing he would talk about.
Latest report says there's one on top of the building.
On top of the Losi building, I do have kind of a imprint, which would be a great angle. Just in 14, I'm up on top of the Losi.
Do we have suspect information, or are we still looking for someone?
Yeah, they think your DPS is requesting us try and get that motorcycle stopped. Maybe a suspect in that shooting. What was your traffic?
Hey, Bags, can you tell if there's a camera in that area?
I know they have spotted somebody. I think they're still trying to make contact.
I'll go ahead and spoil the surprise. There was no screwdriver discussed on the dispatch. You would think the guy with the dead body cam footage would have known to immediately signal in that you'd found evidence. Oh, we got a screwdriver up here. Well, when he was in the preliminary hearing, that's the first thing he mentioned was the screwdriver. Now we can't find him anywhere. Well, did he go up there alone? Did this officer Bagley, did he go up alone on the Losi Center? No, he didn't go up alone on the Losi Center. He had company. Who accompanied him to the top of the Losi Center? Do share. We're all on the edge of our seats.
Yes. Okay, and it was on.
Yes.
And it appears to me from reviewing your body camera that there was another individual who was with you that went to the Losi building who was in civilian clothing but appeared to have a gun. Who was that?
I don't know who he was exactly. He had a badge on, and I had somebody with me to back me up as I ran up the stairs to make sure I had somebody with me.
So you don't know what agency he's from or where he's from?
No.
And it looked like he had a pistol.
Yes.
Is that right?
A handgun, yes.
Or a handgun.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got Officer Bagley somehow positioned at the top of the Hall of Flags with a perfect view to the Losi Center, appears on camera to be looking that way at the moment of the fatal shot, intuitively says he didn't see anything, intuitively says, that sounds like a rifle that came from the Losi Center, or it sounds like a rifle, and it must have come from the Losi Center. I don't know why he chose the Losi Center. There were all kinds of buildings around. They all made, no. He went straight, made a beeline for the Losi Center. When he gets there, his body cam fails. He shows up on the scene of the crime. He's ready to find the screwdriver. He's ready to find the imprint of a body laying there. But that dadgum body camera footage failed after an hour and 44 minutes. Well, that's too bad. But he wasn't alone. Too bad we can't question the other guy. We don't know who he was. No. Just a guy in civilian clothes with a gun and a badge. Who? Are you telling me there was law enforcement there that we don't have documented? We don't know who that was? Maybe we'll find out who it was, but it's a little weird to me. How do we know this guy's not dropping screwdrivers? How do we know this guy's not making imprints with his foot? We don't. We don't, because his body cam failed, and we don't know who that was. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a little weird. I mean, just right out of the gate, that's a little weird. Is that reasonable doubt? I don't know. It's weird. Definitely weird. If I was going to frame somebody, I, might want to get on top of that roof with a guy in civilian clothes and a badge and a gun to drop screwdrivers off. Maybe. I don't know. But that happened. Like, that was testimony in the courtroom today. That was testimony in the courtroom. Now, we know for a fact. They got this from Honest Ash, Real Honest Ash on X. We know for a fact that that this guy Bagley, at least he testified, reviewed some surveillance footage. How confident was he in the surveillance footage that he reviewed? This officer Bagley, what did he see precisely? It's all going to come down to this. We're told he was on video camera, man. We saw the guy on video camera. He was up there with a gun. Oh, was he?
Do you mention anywhere in this report that you saw a gun?
I did not. I just had no object.
So he did not mention in his police report that he saw a gun after reviewing the surveillance footage that we're promised shows Tyler Robinson, not anyone else, but Tyler Robinson. We're told this shows Tyler Robinson with a gun. This is the guy who reviewed the surveillance footage. He reviews the surveillance footage. He writes up a report and doesn't mention a gun. Just mentions an object. Well, Now we're getting into mountains of reasonable doubt, right? Because you got to have a gun to shoot somebody. You can't shoot somebody with an object. Some objects will shoot people, but a lot of objects won't. Broomsticks don't shoot people. Poles don't shoot people. Flag sticks don't shoot people. All could be considered objects.
Did you mention that you saw that object? Is that on here?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, that wasn't in there either, actually. So get rid of the object. That wasn't in his initial impression of the video either.
So you left that out. Now have you looked at that over and over again?
The video? No,
Yeah.
I've only seen it twice.
Oh, really?
Yep.
When's the last time you saw it?
It's been months.
Okay. The last time you saw it, were you able to tell what that object was in his hand?
Yes.
Now-
Well, not tell what it is. I can see there's an object in that left hand. Yes.
And could
Couldn't tell what the object was the last time he saw it. So this is the guy we're relying on. This is the convicting evidence. This is the guy who they used in the charging documents to say that Tyler Robinson scampered off the roof with a gun. This guy. It was his report that didn't mention an object in his hand. And that he's still looking back says, well, I can't tell it's a gun. I can just see it's an object.
knowing what you know about the case today, do you have an idea about what that object was?
That's the question I wouldn't have asked. I've mentioned that earlier, that I would not have asked a question. You know, sometimes you just let the fact finder, in this case, the judge, you just sort of let his imagination run wild. If you got a guy on the hook, you don't take him off and throw him back into the ocean, right? You just let the prosecution's going to clean that up. But make them earn their money. They get paid a state paycheck. They're probably making 100, 120, 150 grand a year to sit at that table. Let them earn their paycheck. You don't have to go in and clean it up for them. You said you didn't see an object, but are you sure you didn't see an object? Any idea what it could have been? Oh, come on. Don't ask that question.
It looks like a rifle or something to that effect, a long object.
It looks
A rifle or something to that effect, a long object. I can think of a lot of long objects that are not rifles. I got several in here. I mean, I got long objects in here. I got tripods for the camera, tripods for the. I'm not suggesting a guy is on the roof with a tripod, but we're talking about killing a man here. We're talking about depriving him of his life, putting him in front of a firing squad, or injecting stuff in his veins that'll cause him to suffocate and die. We might want to be a little more sure than, well, he had a long object.
like a rifle.
Like a long object, like skinny and long. You can see it's like almost like it's covered over something.
So you saw the cover, which was the towel, right?
Yes, and the shape of it is long.
Okay.
You know.
So he saw a long towel. That's what he saw. Some sort of cover, some sort of long something.
So you can see a towel, but you can't see an actual
I don't know if
gun.
it was a towel or a blanket. I don't know what it was.
But you can't see an actual gun.
No,
video.
like an object, like a form of a gun, like a long object.
Okay. You mentioned
Somebody asked me the other day in a super chat, could I define circumstantial evidence? I don't even think that's circumstantial evidence. Like that's just guessing. Like I saw something. He was holding something. Well, that something is pretty important as we are reviewing the evidence, sir. That's pretty important. It actually, if you go to the original probable cause affidavit, so this is from September 12th. If you go to the original probable cause affidavit, this is very consistent. What he said today in court is very consistent with what was in the original probable cause affidavit. Here it is highlighted in blue. Suspect appeared to be carrying an item whose identity is not clear from the surveillance. So an unidentified object is what is being carried. That is the language from the probable cause affidavit on September 12th. 4 days later, September 16th, we have ourselves new language. I think somebody realized you can't convict somebody for carrying a large object. So they've changed it. Camera later captures the suspect as he runs across the roof to the suspected shooting position. Immediately after the shot was fired, a camera captures the suspect running across the roof, carrying an item whose shape is consistent with a rifle. I'm not even sure you can convict somebody for carrying an item consistent with the shape of a rifle, but at least we're getting somewhere. But you have to admit, the guy you're relying on didn't say that. That's not what he said. That's not at all what he said. In fact, what he said was he could not identify the person on the roof other than not being hefty. I don't remember the exact words he used. I stole this from the Dankster. I don't think he'll care. Danks, you're doing the Lord's work out here compiling evidence for our program. This is how he described the figure he saw on the roof.
You have that day?
Yes.
You mentioned when you went to the police department, you watched the video where you saw an individual up on the roof,
Yes.
right? And that individual was in the vicinity where you saw the disturbance in the gravel.
Yes.
And when you looked at that video, were you able to identify the individual's face?
I know.
Well, that's a problem. Again, we're talking about putting a man to his death. A lot of times you want to make sure you've identified the correct individual. We just got evidence that you actually cannot identify his face. What about other characteristics?
Were you able to identify any markings on their clothing?
I know.
No markings on the clothing. So all of a sudden, the guy in the stairwell becomes largely irrelevant. We have no idea what the guy on the roof was wearing.
Were you able to identify their height?
No.
Have no idea who it is. Could have been a 5'2", I don't know, Chinese guy. Could have been a 6'9" white guy. We don't know.
When we looked at the picture of the, I think you called it the sniper perch. So I'm going to use your words. It looked like there was a measuring tape laid out next to it. Were you present when they measured like the distance, like how tall that person would have been?
I was not.
So we don't know how tall he was.
So you don't know what that is?
I don't.
Were you able to tell the person's weight from the video that you saw?
I can tell he wasn't heavy set.
Okay, so he's not a fatty. He's not a fatty. That's all I know. I mean, I don't even think we can say he at this point. I think we can't rule out the 50% of the population, roughly maybe 51%, that's female. At this point, we're going with human. I mean, I think we can settle on human. I don't think it's Bigfoot up there. I don't think. But we have no markings on his clothing. We have no face. We don't know what he's carrying. It's an object. It's long object. We don't know how tall he is. We know he's not hefty. He eats salad. That's the only thing we know about this guy. He loves salad. Salad, fruit plates, 97.3 beef. That's all he eats. Lean, cold cuts. Maybe some fish. Steamed broccoli. That's all we know. That's all we know. The guy doesn't sit around pounding bags of Lay's. He doesn't eat a gallon of ice cream every night. And I don't even know what not heavy set means. I mean, that ain't the skinniest guy I've ever looked at. Would he consider himself heavy set? I think it would have been a perfect opportunity. Oh, man, now that I think about it. As soon as he said he wasn't heavy set, let me pull this back up. As soon as he said he wasn't heavy set, I think Catherine Nestor should have gone, what about me? Am I heavy set? Was he smaller than me? Would you call me heavy set? What do you mean by heavy set, sir? Heavy set's a relative term. I need to know how you're defining it. I mean, force the guy into the most awkward conversation in the history of mankind. What is one thing no man wants to be asked? Do I look fat in this? You know? I would have been interested to know how he answered it. And that's no shade on Catherine Nestor. I mean, just work with what you got, girl. Use it to your advantage. He gave you an opening. Walk through it. Walk through it. This is where we are in this case. My body cam footage, I just miraculously knew precisely which roof to go to. I was accompanied by a civilian, or in a man in civilian clothes in a badge that I didn't identify. I have no idea what agency he worked for. Could have bought it on eBay for all we know. Amazon. Could have used a 3D printer and shined that bad boy up with some Krylon gold trim. I have no idea what agency he worked for, but he had a gun and a badge. So I took him to the scene of the crime. And I made sure that my body cam footage died right when me and unknown guy showed up to the scene of the crime. And we're the only two people there. And then I later reviewed some surveillance footage and confirmed that some sort of creature was on that roof. Probably human. Probably human. Not a fat human at that. Not a heavy set human. An Ozempic American. And he was carrying something long. He had something long in his hand. But I don't know what clothes he was wearing. I didn't identify his face. I was not able to get any identifying characteristic. I don't know how tall he was, how old he was, what color he was. I know nothing about the man. I was promised mountains of evidence. I was promised mountains of evidence. I was promised they have him on camera. Well, do they? Do they have him on camera? I mean, after today, do they have him on camera? Do they have Tyler Robinson on camera committing a murder? It's important. We're charging a man. You promised us mountains of evidence. You promised us mountains of evidence. The next guy that came up, oh gosh, I didn't mean to start jumping in right away. The next guy who came up was a guy named Hull, David Hull. I was hoping they would get to Brian Davis today. They didn't. I think Brian Davis will tell us for sure whether that 6:25 p.m. Mirandizing was on September 11th or September 12th. It's going to be an interesting discussion. I think he has to know the answer because he is alleged to have shown up at 10 or 10:30. The arrest documents say he got there at 10. It'll be interesting. I'm sure the defense will cover it if the prosecution doesn't. But what time did you first hear about it? Where were you? Were you in Salt Lake City? Were you in Provo? Were you in Orem? How long did it take you to get there? So what time did you leave to head there in order to get there at 10 or 10:30? Did you drive at an extraordinarily high rate of speed? Or did you drive normal 70, 75 miles an hour down the interstate? I think that'll be interesting when that comes up. It'll be very interesting. But the second witness was not Brian Davis, as I'd hoped. The second witness was a guy named David Hull. I found it noteworthy. I don't know why, that the guy had some sort of accent that was un-American. I don't know if I'm not good with accents. I don't know if it was British or Australian. I don't know what it was. But he didn't sound local. And I don't know why that matters. You're allowed to be a cop and not an American or be raised somewhere else. Maybe he is an American. Maybe he's a naturalized citizen. I don't know. And you could probably still do a good job, but, you know, I favor the guy with the Utah accent in this case. But he was there largely, I'll say, to talk about the extra video footage. So he talked about the video footage from Terryl Farnsworth. By way of introduction, Terryl Farnsworth was the guy who runs a company called Visual Impulse, I think is the name of the company. Visual Impulse, I believe, only has one client. They might have more, but I think they only have one client, and that's TPUSA. So Terryl Farnsworth is not a TPUSA employee. He's a contractor. He's a contractor. But his office, at least used to be, located in the building where Charlie Kirk was located, in the studio where they filmed the Charlie Kirk show. I don't think it's there anymore. I think they've moved it to one of the other buildings. But regardless, he's on campus or at the embassy, as they like to call it at TPUSA, at the embassy there on Beverly Road in Phoenix. There was an interesting discussion about how the FBI ended up with possession of the different video. And we have that. We have that discussion captured. I want you to listen carefully to this discussion because I'm going to hearken back to a conversation Candace Owens had with Terryl Farnsworth. But I want you to hear this first.
Other agent with the SBA?
Yes, we were able to collect video. TPUSA had a videographer, Visual Impulse.
In case you thought I was lying about the accent, a videographer. A videographer. Anyway, I just thought I would just prove that I was right. He does not sound like he's from Utah.
Who was taking coverage of the event, and they provided video to us that they had captured on September 10th of 2025.
And do you know who or how that video was collected from Visual Impulse?
Yeah, Mr. Farnsworth originally provided, I believe, a flash drive to Lieutenant O'Brien with one of the local agencies. And a short time after that, on September 10th, he provided downloadable versions, electronic versions to Agent Mortensen. And an 1102 was collected from him on May 6th of 2026.
So an 1102 was prepared by someone with Visual Impulse?
Yes, Terryl Farnsworth was the individual that prepared it. And in preparation for this, I spoke to him personally regarding that statement.
And do you know what his association is with Visual Impulse?
I believe he's the owner-operator or the director of the company.
And then who collected that 1102 statement from Mr. Farnsworth?
It was Agent Mortensen who collected it.
Okay, and you know that because Agent Mortensen told you, or
He provided it to me. And then, as I mentioned, I subsequently spoke to Terryl Farnsworth personally regarding his statement.
Okay. You got a chance to look at Mr. Farnsworth's 1102 statement?
I have, yes.
And again, does that statement include an advisory that any statement that he provided would be used at preliminary hearing in lieu of his live testimony?
Yes.
Did it also include a warning that a false statement would potentially be punished by a Class A misdemeanor?
It did, yes.
Okay, so to clarify here, Terryl Farnsworth, we now know what date he turned over the footage. It was on September 10th. We know the manner in which he turned it over. Turned it over two different ways, according to this guy. One way he turned it over was via a flash drive. That's a piece of hardware. I think most of us know what a flash drive is. You plug it into your computer and it has all the files in there and you just access it. That's one way this guy says he turned it over. The second way that he says he turned it over was via Google Drive. So that is how they say he turned it over. Flash drive and Google Drive. But that's not what we were told initially, if you recall. Are in the possession of the FBI. That's what Andrew Kolvet told us. But that's not what the officer said at all. The officer said he never got the SD cards, or he didn't mention getting SD cards. Instead, he said he got a flash drive and a downloadable version from Google Drive. That's interesting, the downloadable version from Google Drive, and I can show you that that is what Terryl said. Terryl apparently got over his fear of being hacked by Google, because you remember he told Candace Owens he would not share the drive with her. She just wanted to see, did a shot come out the back? And he said, I'm not going to share that with you. I'm afraid I'll get hacked by Google. Well, that conversation took place shortly before September 19th. As Jillian Faith says here, great to see he got over his fear that Google was going to hack him. Apparently this link no longer works. People have tried it. I think it's diabolical, guys, if I'm being honest. On September 10, I was president at the Turning Point USA Valley Utah Valley University event. Myself and my team were there to provide audio equipment, setup, management, and support, as we had done for Mr. Charlie Kirk for years. I'll tell you right now, that first sentence, those first two sentences, that is evidence Terryl Farnsworth did not draft this. They said it was drafted by him. This was not drafted by him. He would know that's not how you stylize Turning Point USA. He would have either put TPUSA in all caps or Turning Point USA with USA in all caps. He would not have put capital U, lowercase a, S, lowercase a. That's not how he would have stylized that. And I like to believe he wouldn't have started the sentence with myself. That's not proper English. But maybe I'm giving him too much credit, and nor do I think he would have called him Mr. Charlie Kirk. Our camera setup consisted of 3 angles: an angle directly on Charlie, an angle on the individual asking questions, and a wider angle behind Charlie that showed the audience and crowd reaction. It's that wider angle behind Charlie that Candace Owens was talking about. That day, September 10th, I provided SBI with 4 videos through a Google Drive link. And then he gives the link. These videos labeled whatever, duration 2620, whatever that is, duration 2308, whatever that is, duration 2648, and hyperdeck, whatever that is, duration 2611, were taken by me and my team at the event on September 10th, 2025. What's interesting about that is that's 4 different videos that he provided. Now, he said he only had 3 angles. If you read, he says he has 3 angles. Now maybe one of these is some sort of like compilation that has all 3 videos on the same screen. I don't know. But he says those 4 files, and they last between 23 and 26 minutes. I don't know why that one is shorter, but whatever. Were taken by me and my team at the UVU event on September 10, 2025. These videos, as they were provided to SBI, are a true and correct representation of what took place. That's just foundational language that has to be in there. Regarding the clip labeled as whatever, I've reviewed, and from what I can see, it is a true and correct representation of a portion of the larger files I previously sent to the SBI. So it sounds like the SBI clipped it and sent it back to him for additional authentication. That's what it looks like to me going on in here. I don't know why 4 files instead of 3 when he says they only had 3 cameras. One of them may be some sort of super cut that has all 3 on the same screen. I don't know. And then it sounds like this footage of crowd and behind Charlie that's bait stamped number 15 sounds like it's a clip of what he provided. But regardless, he says he provided it by Google Drive. He doesn't mention a flash drive. And he sure doesn't mention providing SD cards to them. And I think that's a key fact. I think that's a very key fact. Because what's at question here is whether these are precisely accurate representations of what was on those SD cards. You know, once you take the SD card and you load it into a computer and then you create a new file, you could, in theory, edit it. And some editing is really slick. It's really slick. You might not catch it, right? You might not, even really sophisticated people just viewing it might not see it. So I think I would ask, where are the SD cards? And can we look at them? Is there a way to analyze them to see have they been altered? Are they the original footage? I don't even know if that's possible. I mean, it's been 10 months. What could have happened to those SD cards in 10 months? What could have happened to the footage? And why was one of them 3 minutes shorter than the other? And was it the full frame? Did we get the full frame? And did we see everything going on behind the table afterwards? I just got a lot of questions. I've got a whole lot of questions when it comes to this stuff. But that sounds like it's not his handwriting. It sounds like it's not his handwriting. Now, guess who crashed out all day? I'm not sure who is advising TPUSA at this point. I'm not sure at all who is advising TPUSA at this point. And I can see Andrew's embarrassed by his crash outs because he's now posted a bunch of stuff back to back to back in order to push them down. But I just want to go through some of these, some of this crash out over the last day or so. Let's see here. Let me scroll back to late last night, I think is when it all started. Wow. Okay, here we go. So last night we covered on this program that there was an article coming out from a National Contagion Research Institute had provided some data showing that Candace Owens is radicalizing people. And Andrew Kolvet today, 11 hours ago, reposted a thread in which somebody is basically bad-mouthing Candace for this. And he goes through and I don't know, must have screwed it up because he kind of reposted it there. Then he starts really going after her. Let me show you. There we go. So Candace posts, "One more fight, Charlie. I don't fear these demons. We will win." That probably should have gone without a response from TPUSA's chief PR person, but he could not help himself. "Candace, you and Charlie were not friends." I love this. This is going to be a center point of this all day. He's fighting with her all day over, "Charlie didn't like you. I had these same fights in 5th grade. Billy doesn't like you. He's not your friend. You and Charlie were not friends. He managed you." That's why I did the opening I did today. He's accusing Charlie of being a liar and a hypocrite all day long. He goes into this. "He kept things light and polite so you wouldn't turn on the org. Show me any proof of genuine friendship from the last 12 months of his life, from the last 18 months, from the last 24 months, not some 2018 text, something recent. You gave him anxiety." Another, Candace is the you here and Charlie's the him. Candace gave Charlie anxiety whenever you, Candace, called or texted asking, demanding to speak at our events. He made me or Justin deal with you and George. This is why when you tried to hire me in February 2024 for PR, I agreed to go along with it against my better judgment because Charlie asked me to keep you close and protect the org from you. The publicist I tried to hire to run point, prayed about it, and felt the Lord told her a firm no, so I ultimately declined. This is your central foundational lie. You were not his friend. You were not his defender. You were his tormentor. And now you torment his wife and the organization he built. Candace, you are a fraud. And then he goes on to quote Blake Neff here, "As Charlie once told us, Candace is very easy to understand once you realize all she cares about is money." Well, Candace did not take that lying down. Did not take that lying down at all. And she had a response. She had a response. In fact, many responses. Here is one such response. "Charlie had so much anxiety about our friendship that he was the one updating me on the farce of October 7th. Really weird to continually initiate convos with someone you're scared of." And this is Charlie Kirk texting her about the IDF knowing of the plan to kidnap before the event took place and her writing back unreal. That was January of 2024, certainly within the last, I don't know, what do you say, 24 months? Yeah, it's right outside the last 24 months. And they just went back and forth all day. They just kept going back and forth all day. It was absolutely ludicrous. Andrew reposted somebody who said this, "Candace and Charlie were not friends. I've spent the last year getting to know the leadership at TPUSA." Oh, the last year, you say? You must know everything then. I bet you're fun at parties. "I spent hours in conversation with Charlie Kirk's closest friends." Oh, that's not very comforting, sir. "And without fail, every single one of them tells me essentially the same thing. Candace and Charlie weren't really friends." Well, we don't doubt that they'd say that. The question is, were they? And what you're saying here is you have no information relevant to that inquiry. So that's more here. Here's Candace saying, "Andrew has recently been seeding the narrative that Charlie distanced himself from me." Here's Andrew in his own words on a text chain with me and Charlie in May of 2024, denying that charge. "Charlie had my back 100%. His donors were the ones pressuring him. He always expressed to me that he thought the Daily Wire was behind the sudden push." Here is Andrew Kolvet texting Candace, May 3rd, 2024. "We're not distancing ourselves from you." This is Andrew Kolvet to Candace Owens. "We are not distancing ourselves from you. We have a bunch of donors that want us to, but we deal with them one-on-one. And this website is a resource explaining things. Most of them are fine once we sit and talk with them. I wonder if it's Ben personally or Daily Wire pretty dirty." And so Andrew here is tossing the diminutive leader of the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro, right under the bus and backing over the little short bus right over him. I'm assuming it's a short bus, midget horse short bus. But he's backing the bus right over. And then Charlie says, Candace, we are with you 100%. Candace, we are with you 100%. Then Andrew chimes in and says, yep, sounds exactly what someone would say to a person they're trying to manage. Sir, you just called Charlie Kirk a liar and a hypocrite. You just took his dead corpse and wiped your hind end with it after an especially steamy and greasy one. That's what you just did, Andrew. Is that the look TPUSA is going for? Scoring pot shots against podcasters by desecrating the image of your founder? No, Charlie was just trying to manage you. He's a liar, you know. These are the two options Andrew has. He's backed himself into a really strange corner, and he didn't have to. He could have just ignored it. Option A is the option he's chosen. Yes, Candace, Charlie lied to your face. He is a liar, after all. Like me, Andrew Kolvet, an admitted liar, Charlie also is a liar. And I'm going to desecrate his corpse right here in public on X for all to see. This particular tweet has already been viewed 261,000 times. That's 250,000 people have seen Andrew Kolvet call Charlie Kirk a bold-faced liar. Bald-faced liar, whatever you want to call him. That's option A, the option he's chosen. Kick Charlie while he's dead. Option B would be to say, I'm lying now. I, Andrew Kolvet, am lying now. You and Charlie were actually friends. I've been mistaken. I wasn't telling the truth. He chose not to do that. He chose instead to run over his dead friend, his alleged friend. I don't think they were friends. If anyone wasn't the friend, I think it's Andrew wasn't the friend. I think Andrew was the handler. That's why I did the opening I did today. I think Andrew was inserted into TPUSA, and Charlie was an unwitting asset. Andrew was managing him. Andrew was planting things in his head. He had control of his Twitter account. Like, how much better of a handler can you be than to actually be able to put words in the mouth of your unwitting asset? Get on Charlie Kirk 11 Twitter feed and say whatever you want. Like, that's handler gold. Most handlers working with unwitting assets don't have that access. But Andrew did. Andrew did. He wasn't fine just desecrating Charlie's corpse on that one occasion. He actually went a step further. Here is Candace saying, I'm glad you finally came to the surface, rat. Your previous employees told me it was you and Erica that were teaming up with the YouTubers to put out that utterly fake narrative that Charlie and I were not friends and he had anxiety. You also worked together to lie about his pull towards Catholicism and to put out the deranged narrative that I secretly loved Charlie and hadn't spoken to him since 2019, despite me touring with him through May of 2024. Your lies are easy to debunk. I simply could not have demanded to speak at any TPUSA event because we had a speaker contract that rolled over annually, Andrew. This means I never had to beg or even request to speak at any event because I was contractually obligated to speak at every major TPUSA event every year. It's also utterly ludicrous to suggest he didn't pick up my calls because I never call. Any person who knows me knows I never pick up or call people. But you lie so much. I'm going to accept this easy challenge to prove you're a liar by releasing every single time I dialed Charlie's number for the last 3 years. As soon as I'm back on air, that will be released. Man, when she gets back, it's going to be bad on these people. And I know they are anticipating it, which is why they're freaking out right now. They're trying to seed and poison the well before she gets back. Because when she gets back, it's going to be bad for them. And they know it. I've promised it, and they know it. Gratefully, telephone logs go back 5 years. I simply prefer to text. And I thank God for that, as I've been able to debunk your lies about Charlie because of that habit. Like I said, your number one problem is you are dumb. Regarding your narrative that we never spoke, I literally just released Charlie and I discussing your partner Johnny Moore's demonic attack against Christ's King, a convo initiated by Charlie. Those messages are dated to May 2025. But hey, let's hear Charlie's own words regarding our friendship, shall we? Here, Charlie, captured August 21, 2025, 3 weeks before he died. Well, what did he say? What did he say 3 weeks?
Relationship with Candace Owens nowadays.
She's a great friend. You know, look, I don't agree with everything Candace says, but you know what I don't do? I don't stop being friends with people just because people morally blackmail me. I don't do that, and you shouldn't either. But honestly, I traveled the country with Candace. I went to her wedding. I saw her meet her husband. I went to Israel with Candace, which is a fun story I'll tell you at some point. I think the world of Candace. She's a great mother. She certainly has very, very fun opinions at times, and she's a great talent. She says a lot of stuff that sometimes I don't agree with, but that's what makes our relationship and our friendship interesting.
Relationship with Candace Owens nowadays.
Well, Andrew could have chosen to ignore that. But no, he has to dig Charlie up and set him on fire. And not content with wiping his hind quarters with Charlie's dying dead corpse, he has to dig him up and set him on fire. I was actually with Charlie at the event. We traveled that entire week together. As Charlie says here, he would never allow someone else to morally blackmail him into condemning anyone. I love that about him. All this clip demonstrates is that he was a gentleman who believed a personal relationship with someone put that person off limits. He was very forceful on that point, but you might have also noticed he's scrambling to defend your very fun opinions that he didn't agree with. And now we're going to put words in a dead man's mouth. And when he got off stage, the first thing he asked me as we walked to the car was how I felt he handled the Candace answer. He said he knew you'd eventually see the clip and wanted my opinion on how it came across. I told him he handled it well. And he said the Candace questions are only going to continue to get crazier. The crazier your commentary got. We have to be ready for them. He was walking on eggshells, Candace, because he knew he was one clip away from you turning on him in the org. Hope that helps. But it wasn't just Charlie lying by text directly to Candace. He wasn't just lying to one person on the other end of a text thread. He was lying to thousands of people at an event who paid or showed up to see him. He'll lie to them too, Candace. And the world. If you believe Andrew, Charlie was a hypocrite. Charlie was not worth following. Charlie had no spine, no backbone, and he had no honor, no integrity, no nobility. There was nothing good about Charlie's character, according to Andrew Kolvet, because anyone who will lie to you that frequently, that often, and frankly lie to that many people is a lousy individual. It's a terrible human being. I don't believe that about Charlie Kirk. I didn't agree with him on every political issue. I stated that early and often when I started covering this case, that his foreign policy was not my cup of tea, but that over the past 12 to 18 months, he'd started coming around a little bit to see things more my way when it comes to American interventionism. But what I never thought Charlie was a diabolical being. I never thought he was a liar. I never thought he was a habitual liar. And I never thought he lied with ease. I might have thought he was mistaken, but I thought he was decent, good. Andrew Kolvet did not think that. At least not what he's saying now. Rather, Andrew Kolvet thought Charlie Kirk was a monster. Someone who would lie at will just to placate people. Because he didn't have the spine, the backbone to handle the fallout. That's a coward. That's what we call a coward. You, sir, are taking the coward's way out here, Andrew. You're taking the coward's way out. What you've done today has done more to demean and degrade Charlie's memory than anything Candace Owens has ever said about Erica Kirk. Erica has lied. It's documented. How many college degrees does she have? How many pageants did she enter? How many people did she date? When did she date them? These are all documented facts that she lied about, at least best I can tell. And I've never been corrected on that record. But what you're doing, Andrew, is not documented. You are putting words into a dead man's mouth to call him a liar. You're interpreting the texts that Candace is putting forward. You're not providing evidence that Charlie felt any of these things. It's a funny thing about what you and TPUSA do. This seems to be a habit. We don't have any documented evidence that Charlie ever wanted Erica to take over. All we got was some clipped up 1 3/4 second divided into 2 brief clips out of context. No idea what he was talking about. And from that, you tell us that, of course, Charlie wanted Erica to take over. Who could doubt it? We released the video. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. We don't know what that video was talking about. Then you tell us, well, we can back it up because he told all of us personally and individually. Well, he never wrote it down. He never put it in a text. He never put it in any of his journals. He never talked about it openly on any stage. And in fact, it went against absolutely everything he said on every single stage he would ever been on when he talked about if a woman can afford it, she should be home with her kids. That's the most important thing a woman can do. Everyone except Erica, you see. Charlie wanted Erica in the office. She wanted her at the founders ball. Where were her kids? She wanted her on speaking tours. Where were the kids? She wanted her putting on her pumps, playing boss babe. That's what he really wanted for Erica. That's what you're telling us. And all we have are the words of Charlie Kirk himself that fly in the face of all of that. It's the exact same thing here, Andrew. All we have are the words of Charlie Kirk and you, who told Candace continually for years that Charlie was in fact her friend, cared for her deeply, kept her updated on things, was not stabbing her behind her back, was communicating with her, was confirming their friendship on a regular basis, was even speculating out there. I think it was the Daily Wire who might be doing this. That diabolical, dastardly Ben Shapiro. Perhaps he's the one you should be going after. I'm not sure how I'd feel if I was Ben Shapiro today. But this is the way you've chosen to treat Charlie's memory. Every time something comes up that seems to fly in the face of everything Charlie actually said, you guys have some super secret conversation that took place behind the scenes that went against all of it. And what it means is that Charlie was not an honorable man. He was not an honest man. He was a diabolical, maniacal liar, a habitual, pathological liar. He lied about what he wanted women to do in the workforce. He lied about his relationship with Candace. What else did he lie about, Andrew? Can we just get it all out now? Can we go ahead and completely desecrate his corpse? Can we go ahead and completely roll over it with a steamroller while we're going ahead and doing all the rest of this? What you're doing is gross. And I don't know if you know you're doing it or if you really hated the man, because you were assigned to him as a handler and you had no respect for him whatsoever. Because that's what you're acting like. You're acting like you were the one who was making all the calls. And I'm telling you right now, this is horrific. This is horrific. What you're telling all of the TPUSA followers is you've been duped. Charlie Kirk is not who you thought he was. You guys who used to tune in every day for the Charlie Kirk show, he was lying to your face. You were following a liar. All of you who booked hotel rooms and traveled to cities to see Charlie Kirk speak live, waste of time. He was just a two-bit liar. All you people who read his 16 best-selling books, he didn't mean any of that. He's just a pathological liar, according to Andrew. I'm not sure you're doing what you think you're doing, sir. I don't know where you learned your PR skills, but go back and get your money back. You've been let down. Someone failed you in life. Someone failed you miserably, and you should be ashamed. But I don't think you have any shame. So I expect this terrible behavior to continue. I can't wait to find out next from Andrew where else Charlie told habitual lies. can just tune into his X feed and find out, I suppose. I'm sure it's coming. All right. That's my message to Andrew. If you've liked the program, please, by all means, feel free to hit the like button. If you're not a subscriber, you think you're a subscriber, go ahead and double check. Some people are being unsubscribed. I made that comment one day and we had like 2,300 subscriptions that particular day because everybody went and checked and they had been unsubscribed. So by all means, go click the subscribe button. While you're there, you might as well click the notification, the little drop down arrow that shows up. If you want to join the program, become a member, get access to our members' content, just click the join button. And that join button will take you to the members page. If you want to save $3, don't do it through your YouTube app on your Apple phone. Open a browser. It'll be $3 cheaper. I don't charge that. I make nothing off that $3. So I don't care if you pay Apple or not. If you don't mind paying the extra $3, go through Apple. Pay it every month. If you want to save $3, do it through a browser. It'll be a little cheaper. I have no idea why they charge that, but they do. I will be on tomorrow, so I will not have a show tomorrow. I am actually going to my friend Jeff's funeral in the morning. That's tomorrow. So pray for me, pray for him, pray for his family. That'll be pray for everyone that's going to be there. It's going to be tough. And then in the afternoon, I will be recording with Clint Russell and Buckley Carlson. We will be doing the Liberty Lockdown podcast, and I think that'll be coming out Wednesday for broad consumption. So stay tuned. That should be a lot of fun. I will roll through some of your comments. I will warn you, just looking at the volume right now. If you have not yet left a comment, and you're only going to leave one if I'm able to pull it up on screen. I may not get to all of them tonight. I might get to all of them that have been commented so far, but towards the end of the program, I may have to start skipping around a little bit. So if it's important to you, just, come back Wednesday when we're live and comment, and I'll address your concerns then. I do read all the comments. I just can't pull them up and respond to all of them when we have so many. So thank you. I do appreciate it. Daisy and I are waiting to watch James Files confess. Oh, Daisy and I are waiting. Watch James Files confess. Does she tell you to say that? She asked me like 3 times a week if I've watched James Files yet. I'll watch it. I can't promise I'll watch it tonight or tomorrow, but I am going to watch it. Daisy, if you're planting people in the comments, it's working. But Baron, an AK version of the old angel meme seems appropriate. AK, stop hitting yourself. But lo, he could not because EF was hitting him with his own hands. Sorry, I got to turn my fan up a little bit. It's hot. Yeah, he's a little like that. He's his own worst enemy. My fellow jury members, the ring cam driveway footage was clearly a metallic mint green Buick Skylark. Oh. It didn't look like that to me, but I'll go back and double check it. Any experts know if engraved bullets fly true? Well, the shell itself shouldn't change the flight of the bullet. I doubt he was actually engraving the actual bullet. We use bullet colloquially to mean everything from the casing to the bullet itself. The reality is the casing doesn't go anywhere. You can write whatever you want on there as long as you don't damage the casing itself. I suddenly developed a foreign accent to be here. You must have been the one testifying, sir. Hearsay to its best on this preliminary hearing, which is absurd. I hope Charlie gets the justice he deserves. Oh, I do too. But Baron, does a state constitution supersede our federal constitution? Why would they allow evidence even though it's federally unconstitutional? I don't think she's saying it's federally unconstitutional. I think what she's doing is setting up the appellate process, which will oftentimes in a death penalty case include a federal component, the habeas corpus route. After you've exhausted your state court options, you can run through the federal courts. And I think that's what she's setting up. I had to stop going from hospital to hospital looking for the victim to watch this podcast. Well, welcome in, Mr. Qureshi. Every time I watch the judge look at a video we weren't allowed to see, I laughed and said he's pulling a Baron. I didn't even think about that. You're right. That didn't even cross my mind. Happy crash out day, Baron. Slop critical mass. Yes, Andrew's crashing out. It's bad too. He is destroying Charlie Kirk's legacy every single day. Got out of the drapes just to watch this. Thank goodness. Drapes are expensive. For Super Chat, longtime listener, thanks for keeping us all awake and informed. You truly are an extraordinary podcaster. All the love from Southern Utah. Well, you're right in the thick of things. there in southern Utah. I'm doing my best here to keep you awake and informed. I'm doing everything I can. And my favorite humble host, Barron, would you consider an appearance on one of those Trigger Smart live streams during the hearing this week? No pressure. If you had time, it would be great. I thought about, he gave me a link. I thought about jumping in today. I don't know. Because I'm watching it and prepping at the same time. Now, tomorrow I don't have anything to prep, but tomorrow I got plans. I won't be able to be there. And so I will be, again, like I said, we had the funeral in the morning, and then in the afternoon I'm recording with Clint and Buckley Carlson. So I won't be able to do it tomorrow. And Wednesday, I'll play it by ear Wednesday and Thursday because I'm planning to do shows that night. And then Friday, I usually do a member show. So we'll see. Maybe we can do something with the member show with it. Stay tuned. Stop crashing out on X to watch this. Oh, researcher. That's Daisy. I was like, wait a minute. You got a name like Daisy. That is Daisy. Well, don't crash out on X. Bad for the brand. Feels like Andrew Kolvet is intentionally trying to entrap Candace this week to keep her mind away from the trial. Personally, if I was Candace, I would not reply to him and let him stew. Oh, I think she's doing brilliant work. I mean, think about she basically got Andrew on X calling Charlie a demon. Like, who would have thunk that was coming? Not I. Meatloaf for dinner. It was great. That is all. I've had good meatloaf. I've had bad meatloaf. Got very bad meatloaf. What day do you expect LT's recording? I would think all the conversations between Lance and Tyler would come towards the end of the week, but I don't know. That's just my guess. That's how I would set it up if I was the prosecutor. I would end with a flourish. That's going to be the most damning evidence. Don't underestimate jewels. During or following a broadcast, the jury can send Barron jewels as a monetary applause, an alternative to engaging in supers. 2016 Twitch cheerbits set U.S. trend on many platforms. Thank you. Appreciate that. I know people hate them. Erica decided to dress like Wednesday Addams for court today. How appropriate. I didn't see her outfit. I just saw her scamper in. I didn't see her scamper out. If all their witnesses are like Officer Bagley, Tyler's in good shape, and that prosecutor was so lost. Keep in mind, all they got to do is get past the preliminary hearing. It's a very low hurdle. Very low hurdle. It's like stepping over a 1 foot concrete block. I mean, somebody may trip on it, but it's not very often. Crash out is exhausting. Hurt dogs bite. Yes, Christ is king indeed. Surgeon being blocked from the trauma room disturbs me. Also, the ME being promoted afterwards, just like in Butler. Suspect. Same playbook. Yeah, he's not the only one. I think that officer that testified today got a cush job in another location, making more money, like more than double is what I heard. Whether that's true or not, I think it's true. No, on Section 219 of the NDAA. Well, you're Traders representative now. Thank you. I was not whelmed. Quite underwhelmed. Jill, I was not whelmed either, and I know you're a lawyer. And I was watching it like a lawyer. I was not whelmed at all. I'm assuming this is going to be their worst day. If it's not, they're in trouble. If they have a day worse than this, the prosecution's in trouble, and I don't think they're in trouble. Erica's stylist took away her glitter pants and gave her her Black Widow wardrobe for today. Yeah. I wonder if we're going to do that red carpet thing every day. I'll be interested to see who goes in tomorrow. Didn't hear anything that pointed to TR as a shooter. Yeah, same. I think that's all going to come through the text messages, and that's pretty shady to me. I think it's pretty shady. And not only that, go back and read the text messages. Read the Discord. He never says, I shot Charlie Kirk. He talked about, if you believe he even wrote all of them, he never says, I took the shot. He says, I had a chance to take him out. I took it. That could be part of a bigger plan. He says, some hate can't. There's nothing that says, I'm the guy. How long you been planning this? About a week. Didn't say I planned it alone. I don't know. I think even the text messages leave a little wiggle room. Instead of CK stuff, I want to instead suggest a post wind down tune. It won't let me paste links, so instead I just type into YouTube. Gary Moore still got the blues. Okay, thank you. BBB, first one to tell. Snitch wins the deal. Just ask Sammy the Bull Gravano on John Gotti. Is TPUSA the new Gambino crime family? What say you? Would make a good opening statement. I've actually read and watched quite a bit about Sammy the Bull Gravano and John Gotti. That would be a cool opening statement. You know where he lives or where they put him in witness protection? Scottsdale. Wow. What a coinky dink. Yeah, Scottsdale. That's where Sammy the Bull went. I'm sure it's a coincidence. Do you expect prosecution to put forward admissible evidence first, then move the more solid stuff later as a tactic? That's, I mean, I don't understand what you're saying, because to be solid, it would have to be admissible. I don't know what you're saying, but I do expect the end to be a flourish. I think the last day or two is going to be their big shebang, like a fireworks display. What do you call that at the end? Not the flourish. What is that? Not an ensemble. What is it? The big thing at the end, whatever that's called. I'll switch over to the other comments. What do you guys call that? I can't. No, you guys don't know either. Whatever it's called, the big shebang at the end. That's probably how they'll do it. Pronounced like Lindsay. Fair enough. Baron, I've been excitedly waiting for your live and intermittently watching the receipts you dropped on X. Thank you for keeping in step and assisting the principal. Oh, I do. Yeah, I'm a big fan. Big fan of the principal. My B is objecting to everything a strategy. No, not at all. It's strategy in the sense that you have to preserve your objections on the record. But no, you've got to, if you don't make an objection, you can't raise it on appeal. You gotta get it out there. Unwilling floater, flush it. Oh no. That's not what they're talking about. That's not what they're talking about. Hey, Baron, didn't you know mountain of evidence equals hearsay? And trust me, bro, the prosecution should be embarrassed. Christ is king indeed. I think they had a terrible day, if I'm being honest. You know, if it's like a boxing match and you're scoring by rounds, it's 10-9 defense today. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. Maybe even 10-8. Like maybe they took a fall and you can take a point off. And Erica and his parents didn't show up together or sit together. Instead, Don Jr. sat with her. She's going to need a lot of fake tears for this week. I'm not sure that's entirely accurate, but I don't know where they sat. I thought there was a court representative and then Mr. Kirk and then Mrs. Kirk and then Erica. That's what I thought happened, but I could be wrong. I don't know why I think that. I thought I read it somewhere. Thoroughly enjoy your enthusiasm, wit, knowledge, and faith. God bless and keep the Coleman family. Oh, yeah. Christ is king indeed. Doing our best here. Doing our best here. Granddaughter's here. Granddaughter's been here all day. Hard to prep. Please explain what hearsay is to folks. And circumstantial evidence. Watch with Trigger and a military guy. They clearly don't know. They have no reason to, but it drove me nuts confusing the two. Sure. Hearsay is an out-of-court statement. Asserted in court, presented in court to assert the truth of the matter asserted. So if I want to prove that Bill ran a red light, but I didn't see Bill run a red light. Jim saw Bill run a red light and told me all about it. And then I go sit in court, so I'm in court, but I'm recounting an out-of-court statement, meaning I'm telling the jury that Jim told me that Bill ran the red light. That's hearsay. That's actually double hearsay, but that's hearsay. It's double hearsay because, no, it's hearsay. That's his out-of-court statement. And I'm giving it to you in court for the truth of the matter asserted, meaning that Bill ran the red light. There are times when a witness will be allowed to hear a question premised on hearsay or be able to provide an answer on hearsay. And it's things like it happened today. The effect on the listener. So if you're asking, why did you go investigate the crime scene? Well, Jim told me that Bill ran a red light. Oh, well, objection, hearsay. Well, yeah, technically, but I'm not using the statement to say Bill ran the red light. I'm using the statement to say why I responded to the accident scene. So although it's hearsay, we're going to allow the question and the answer to be heard by the jury. So that's hearsay, though. It's an out-of-court statement issued in court to establish truth. I'll give you an example from this case. Nearly everything you heard today was hearsay. what the medical examiner said. Well, that's an out-of-court statement, and it was presented in court today for the truth of the matter asserted, namely how Charlie Kirk died. What was the cause of death? Lance Twiggs' statement they're going to put up of him, the recorded statement. I don't know if that's going to be on paper or that's going to be a video, but either way, it's hearsay. It's an out-of-court statement. In other words, Lance Twiggs isn't sitting in the witness chair. Someone else will be sitting in the witness chair. And they'll be saying, here's what Lance Twiggs said, and then they'll either show you or they'll play it. That's hearsay. So if it's not hearsay, it has to be said in court, and it has to be your personal observation, reflection, or understanding. I hope that clarifies that. Circumstantial evidence, it's just, we don't have him pulling the gun, but we have him at the scene. That's circumstantial. You could then draw the conclusion. You can infer he must have fired the gun. He was at the scene. But that's not direct evidence he fired the gun. That's not like a video of him firing the gun or an eyewitness saying he fired the gun. That's not circumstantial. That's direct evidence. So I hope that clears it up. Tell me Stacey Sheridan doesn't remind you of Helen Pierce, the cartel lawyer from Ozark. Never seen it. I don't watch a lot of television. Are we the public an extension of Robinson's defense? Public defenders, if you will? No. No, we're just interested observers and commentators. 20 years ago, I lost my husband to another woman. I sobbed for 3 years straight. I was inconsolable, couldn't function, eat, or drink. That is what grief looks like. Erica is not a grieving widow. Christ is king indeed. As I've stated many times, that case is going to have a lot of trouble if they get widows on that jury. And they are at all familiar with Erica Kirk. Like if they get widows on the jury, they better never have seen a clip of Erica Kirk. Because if they see the glitter pantsuit and the fireworks, it's going to be tough to convict Tyler Robinson. Looks like she did him a favor. Did her a favor. He did her a favor. It was a great dearth of evidence today. Dearth is a good word. But we all know the Fed sloppers on X are going to continue with their open and shut views, especially Tatum. Looking forward to our humble host, High IQ. Well, I hope you got it. Hope you got it. Baron, I might have used that expression on X today. With the asterisk, I didn't spell it out. But I said that they're turning him into that word liar. And I said it because I'm angry. I'm angry. So you're right, Pamela. Why don't all states carry the same trial laws according to the U.S. Constitution? All the hearsay seems very unconstitutional. Christ is king indeed. Because we're not a federal system. We're a state system. Each state is its own entity. Just the same reason France and England don't have the same laws, or Germany. They have weird laws. Same reason Germany and France don't have the same laws, even though they share a common border. I'm curious what yours and Daisy's thoughts will be about the flash drive. Thanks for everything you both do to keep us informed on so much. We appreciate you. I hope I gave it to you. If AK ever had an intelligent thought, it passed away from loneliness. Oh, goodness gracious. That's an interesting way to put it. Showed the wrong mountain of evidence, Twin Peaks. Oh, gosh. Talking about Stacy? Mountains of evidence. Baron in red because he's on fire. It was a conscious decision, if I'm being honest. I was so mad today watching all this. It really was the X stuff that made me so mad. G'day. Guys, you are bloody awesome. That's the best I can do. I'm claiming number one most Australian, listening to you while at work. Saw a brown snake, pushed it with a broom to the door in a bucket, and kept listening. You just gave me all the more reason not to go to Australia ever. You guys have weird animals. I just stopped watching the last episode to watch this. Oh, don't do that. Go back and finish it. It was good. if I do say so myself. Have you looked into Jim Baker, Billy Graham's fam, and Greg Laurie connections? No. Victor Marx is also sprinkled in. Baker helps young prego moms now. Not sure he should be doing that. I mean, there's other people that can do. Second witness from today's preliminary trial blinked more than paramount untactical when trying to provide Andrew's photo of proof for Erica. Embarrassing. Go Max B. Christ is king indeed. The Australian guy? Yeah, it wasn't pretty. Stacy showed up like Sue Ellen Mishke. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure who advised her to wear that to court. Like, we cover up in court. From below the knee to the neck and arms. Like, that's court. It's court. My B. I am that small channel that started. I am too shy to ask for subs. Help me. Love you. Well, you're not too shy. You just did. Love you, B. Love FYI. Started watching your show since episode 7. Never missed one yet. Just winging it 7. Thank you. I appreciate it. Give them enough rope, Baron. The pressure's breaking them. Follow the money. I hear TPUSA is dumping it fast. Christ is king indeed. Well, Andrew's not helping. Going to people and say, hey, we're running Charlie's organization. Did you know he's a piece of trash and lied all the time? Donate millions to us. I'm not sure that's the way to do it. Thank you so much for your kind appreciation of your faith. It has brought me to the Catholic faith, and I'm so grateful. Enjoy your grandbaby. Oh, thank you. Very kind of you. I'm always happy to hear people are going back to church. I really am. It's the most important thing. Most important thing. I am enjoying my grandbaby. Thank you. Hi, VP. After your opening statement, I feel like poor Charlie Kirk was 100% handled. Yes, that's why I gave the opening statement. LOL on Andrew Meltdown, your favorite Humboldt County fan. P.S. In my 48 years, I've never partaken in the export here. I swear. Christ is king indeed. Good. I just watched a documentary on Humboldt County, and it looked like everybody was stoned all the time. But I'm sure that was just like one neighborhood. Bring it on. I'm fuming today as I've continued to learn how much slop is being thrown around to discredit and smear Candace. I'm completely disgusted by these evil chumps. They always do this when she goes on vacation. They don't do this when she's in the office. Sir B, infiltration op vibes here. Bill M found Charlie Kirk at 18. Yeah, weird, huh? AK and JM create a scandal to enter TPUSA. Yeah, weird, huh? Erica steps in and gets the ring. Yeah, weird, huh? Faith Department swoops in like flies on doo-doo, and now they're all in charge. Yeah, weird, huh? Got a pretty good read on it, similar to mine. Thoughts on Candace being an unwitting asset on the Sean Ryan interview? He acted ignorant on issues he should have been aware of, leading Candace to explain further. Well, I hadn't really analyzed it in that way. It's an interview tactic. I noticed Tucker does it a lot. He'll say, now, who's that? And he knows exactly who it is, but he wants to, give the glory to the guest. You're having a guest on. People are tuning in to hear the guest. Let the guest say who it is. Tucker could say, oh, that's so-and-so. You know him, but he doesn't. He doesn't. Who's that? For Super Chat, questions. 1, SUV passenger carpet placed between 2 seats to catch debris. No, I don't think so. 2, possible feds cleared hospital in advance so no witnesses and pulled cameras so nobody knew. I don't know that that's true either. I don't know that's true either. Hello, beautiful people. AK is trying his best to make us all believe CK was Charlie was Candace's handler. Does he not realize Candace can't be controlled? Just ask the people who fired her. Love and prayers. Yeah, he's just making Charlie look like a liar. It's bad. Like, it's a terrible thing he's doing. My B, thank you for saying all things I was yelling during trial all day in the first few minutes of your show. Whew. I didn't know who Charlie Kirk was. Watched Charlie Kirk debates, then saw Candace, then found you. Watch daily. Thank you. Christ is King indeed. Well, Renee, that's wonderful. Thank you. Appreciate that. I like that you got Christ is King in your name there. Andrew just admitted they were managing Charlie, and Charlie seemed to be irritated by it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Andrew wasn't the only one crashing out. So was Gary Meltdown, really having a meltdown today. Yeah, but he's so irrelevant, he doesn't show up on my feed. Like, that's how small he... Charlie was living the American dream, but woke up in our greatest allies territory. Yeah, maybe. Best part, exiting a Delta flight while listening to you. The captain smiled and said, listening to my humble host. Oh! Also, funny how to wait for the trial mattered for Chauvin, but not Tyler. Oh, that's a good point. That's the last. Let me do them in reverse order. The last point's very true. I forgot about that. That was a big talking point on the right. Oh, wait for the trial. But Tyler doesn't get the same benefit. I'm glad to know we're being heard at 35,000 feet, though. Pilots, thank you. You do good service. Get everybody there safely. Charlie was very subdued. 910, not himself. Did he see a handler in the audience or he just knew? I felt this from day one. It's never mentioned. You got to think about what was going on in Charlie's life the couple of days before. Now, he didn't sleep well the night before because, for whatever reason, he didn't sleep well at all the night before. And he's texting people saying they're going to kill me. I don't think he had to see anybody in the audience. I think just that alone is going to make you subdued. No, he didn't see himself either. And if you go to Charles McClintock Wilson's photo album called Last Set or something like that, whatever it is, it's pictures of Charlie right before it starts. And he almost looks like he's falling asleep in the chair. It's really sad. How does one aspire to be a handler? Does it pay well? LOL, a.k.a. Yoko Ono, John Lennon, Stacey Sheridan, Erica Kirk, Peter Thiel, J.D. Vance, or all the honeypots that marry a politician? I don't know because I'm not a handler. I have no idea how it works. I don't know if you go to like handler school or they find you and compromise. I don't know. But they're out there. I know that. My last day in my 30s today. Excited to be alive for my 40s. My birthday prayer is that I stay sober and close to God. The full truth and justice comes to all involved in Charlie Kirk's death. I hope you stay sober. I will certainly pray for you for that. The 40s are my best decade. I enjoyed the 30s, but I'm really enjoying my 40s. If I'm being honest. Level of AK crash out on day one. Wonder how bad it will get as the hearing goes on through the week. Psych, moral crisis, or distraction from hearing. Erica at hearing. I started off by thinking he might have just been like hungover or still drunk from the July 4th when it started. I really didn't know what to make of it. I have no idea why he chose to do that today. This is obviously a conscious decision to attack Candace this way and act like they weren't friends, but I don't know. Watched MK's clip with 3 attorneys. I want to have an open mind to the evidence against TR, but listening to MK and the panel of experts defend the Fed slap with no opposing view is infuriating. Yeah. I don't know what to say, but yeah. I mean, I watched a bit of it. She was one of the channels I flipped around on. Hearing relied entirely on hearsay for probable cause, correct? If we're bypassing the Sixth Amendment's confrontation clause at the preliminary stage, is there a defense left, or is it just a rubber stamp? So this is hard to explain because he's being held against his will without bail. So normally, in a preliminary hearing, you're not in prison or you're not in jail. You're at home. Or at least you have the opportunity to go home. Most people are offered bail. He was not. And so to me, it takes on a different requirement. They should have to meet a higher burden if no bail is offered. I think that's, if I'm the Supreme Court, that's kind of how I look at this. Is no longer is it just determining whether you have to face trial, in which case the lower burden, I get it. Just what are we doing here? Do you have anything? Okay, well, let's go to trial, see how it works out. But that's fine when you're home, or at least have the opportunity to go home. It's altogether different when you don't. I mean, this trial, we think it'll probably kick off at the end of 2027. It doesn't have to. It could be 2028 or later before he goes to trial. I mean, you're going to hold a man for 3 years against his will on hearsay testimony and fuzzy video footage and unauthenticated text? That seems awfully shady. There seems to be an epidemic of camera malfunctions. Technocrats should be very concerned about this. Oh, you know the only cameras not malfunctioning? Flock cameras. They don't malfunction at all. They work every time. Prayers for my fur baby. She just got bit by a rattlesnake. We'll have to catch up later. Oh, goodness. I hope you get that taken care of. EK finally shows up wearing all black and not lace. The only time I've ever seen her in all black, she had lace on. Oh, other than the Italian server outfit where she went crazy on camera. SS and her 7-year-old EK haircut. Yeah. You know, there's that picture of Erica Kirk as a kid. Let me see if I can find it. She's got the same haircut. Let's see if I can find it here. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Look. She's wearing the Stacey Sheridan. Hold on, let me back out of this. There we go. There we go. You're gonna look at the right-hand side of your screen here. Oh, I guess there's a colored one right next to it. Look, that's the same haircut Stacey Sheridan showed up with today. It's wild, huh? I don't know. Maybe that's some handler stuff. I don't know what they do. I guess we know who's been dressing Erica. I literally zero style and flattery for Erica's body shape, modern fashion or occasion. Burn the pink dress. I'm going to take it easy on what she wears. I'm not a big fashionista. I'm in Adidas joggers, an Adidas hoodie, and socks. Adidas socks. I should be sponsored. They should sponsor me. What do you got? What are you guys waiting on? Well, we now know who's dressing EK. Both never wearing appropriate attire. Softcore. Yes, it was softcore. It was. It reminded me of that video that Victor Marks watched to talk about princess warriors or warrior princesses. Same vibes. Don't watch that, by the way. It's not won't help your walk with God. Erica didn't even stop till the end. I don't know what that means. Stop texting about Lady Gardens. Oh gosh. Baron, did you really start the opening statement without signaling? This is your opening statement with the hands. Oh man, I did, didn't I? Sorry, guys. Thank you for your work. I'm learning a lot every day. Oh gosh. I apologize. Maybe I can get my editor to go back and add that in. But he only edits the clips channel, so I don't know if I have to pay him to make an edit on this. It'll just be me, and all of a sudden go, and then it'll be right back to it. Clip. Mountain of evidence is the size of Denmark's mountain. Boy, if I knew more about geography, I would get that. That looked like Blake Wynn with Erica. I know he was at the TPUSA Founders Ball. I don't think that was him, but I don't know. I heard Uncle Beebster and Aunt Kushner were watching the Kirk kids. There were shells found on a different building in a random gun holster. Crazy. Christ is king indeed. Well, so let's not fall victim to what the prosecution's doing here. Things that come out of the mouths of lawyers are not evidence. We cannot fall victim to that. So the fact that she said that doesn't mean that there were bullet shells on another building. That said, lawyers are advised not to make wild. What are your thoughts on them? Hang on just a second. I was told I don't know. I had a conversation with an accountant about it, and I honestly can't remember what the advice was. I need to go back and revisit that conversation. This is because it's been like 6 months. Good reminder. Thank you. I don't know that I have thoughts on them right now. Not educated thoughts that I'm ready to share. I watched on Trigger Smart today. He was fantastic. People kept asking him to get you on the show. You are so loved. I was so excited to see you today. Utah Trust Me Bro Courthouse live all week. Well, thank you, Lovey. Thank you. I might jump on for a minute here and there, but I don't want to do like an all-day feed. Baron, do we remember EK saying she is pregnant with Charlie Kirk's third child in an interview? I don't remember. I think she said she hoped she was. Number one from Montreal, speaking Frenchy. Seems DJ T Jr. being POTUS's son is intimidation. I hadn't thought of it that way. Per MTG on Mario Nawfall, DJ T posted on Truth Social after CK elimination referred to CK as Shlomo Pearl, a.k.a. useful idiot. Oh. Unwitting asset. Love you, my B. Asking for prayers for final custody hearing from my daughter. She's with my ex and isn't safe. Attorney said odds are very, very good. May the Lord be in your favor if that's true. Baron, I trust you more than anyone else to keep us updated on what's happening in the courtroom. I'm incredibly stressed about this, and my anxiety just keeps growing. Your updates mean a lot to me. Oh, your comments mean a lot to me. Thank you. Very kind of you. Very kind praise. Thank you. My son called and said, Mom, don't watch. He was sorry he had seen it. It's awful, just awful. I've seen it since and wished I had listened to him. Love you, B. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think I would have been able to do this show without having watched it. So from that perspective, I'm glad I watched it because I feel like we've done a lot of good work here. But like, I don't think my wife has ever seen it. And I hope she doesn't. I hope nobody who doesn't feel like they need to see it hasn't seen it. Doesn't. I stopped spanking my cat to watch this. No, you can't spank a cat. We've talked about this. King B, Edge. Don't ridicule Stacey Sheridan. She's another grieving cougar. I mean, widow. Her girls are openly grieving. Oh, gosh. Yeah, they were open. Gruesome, but I disagree. I think every single person should see it. People need to understand how awful violence murder is. That's a different take, Jill. Different take. Eric and Don Jr. showed up just to look at the judge and remind him that he's been paid off. That's my opinion. And allegedly, they're very evil people. Well, that's your opinion. So glad we're watching this live. Thanks for putting out such top-tier content. I do my best. The way you believe in this judge reminds me of the old days when you gave Erica grace for being a grieving widow. I do not trust this judge or defense team. Well, Adriana, I don't know that I ever said, hey, she's a grieving widow, leave her alone. I think what I said was, you guys make your own calls, but as for me, I'm not going to sit here and comment on her because I don't know how widows are supposed to grieve. I've never been one. And then she turned out just to have a track record I couldn't ignore. And I finally weighed in and gave my thoughts. Judge is paid off, or he wouldn't let this go on like this. Well, I mean, I don't think he did anything wrong today. I really don't. My gut is it's usually almost 100% right, and this guy's bought and paid for it. Well, we'll find out. Well, I don't know that we'll find out. We'll see how it goes. AK said Charlie told him we don't lie. Yet Mr. Kolvet and company, by saying Charlie and Candace weren't friends, are saying he was a liar. Also, we can't forget the glass on the floor. Christ is king indeed. Both good points. Hey, B, the guy in the courtroom behind the family was the win guy again. Yeah, it's two people saying it. I don't know that I caught that image. I got timed out for mentioning penetration crisis during the Cold War. That wasn't a joke. That really happened. Asset recruitment is wild. I don't know what that means. Let me see if I can find anybody having mentioned Blake Wynn today, maybe gotten a picture. Oh. People are saying that's Blake Wynn, but I don't see him. Is it the last guy that walks through? I don't think that's him. I don't know, but I don't think that's him. When I first saw the Big Bang happen, I screamed and fell to my family room floor and bawled my eyes out. My hubby and son walked in and I was inconsolable. I followed him for years and listened to him daily. Now, a lot of people had a tough reaction to that. Very tough. If a deal is going to be offered, at what point would that happen? Christ is king indeed. Well, you certainly wouldn't entertain a deal before the preliminary hearing. It would be any time after next week. You think Don Jr. was there to be covered for the Secret Service being there to protect Erica? Oh, no, I don't think so. I don't even think they stayed in the same place. I can't tell you why I think that. Charlie's mom exited the courtroom in front of Erica before the break. They were sitting together. Poor CK's parents. I don't know that it's odd they were sitting together. I mean, it's her daughter-in-law. Thoughts on the casing found at a different location than TR? I don't know because we've not seen that evidence. First I heard of it. She just offhandedly mentioned it. My B, I owe you a thanks, buddy. My PT therapist is a germaphobe, and because you got me sicky icky, I don't have PT now till Friday. So thanks, my B. Ha ha. You better be doing your homework at home. Your homework PT, you better be doing. I've explored how I'd feel if my friend was X'd in a group text where she stuck up for herself surfaced, evoking my name to scare them off. If she was his tormentor, he wouldn't have wanted her to come in and make it worse. She was more likely his ace. I don't think she tormented him. I mean, again, the only thing we have to go on that says that is Andrew's super secret conversations with a dead guy. Everything he said publicly, everything he said by text seems to support precisely Candace's version of events. I'm finally watching live. I'm still catching up from 4 months ago. I heard a rumor, and I don't know how to verify it. Charlie filed for divorce. I don't. I have covered it already, and I've got no evidence of that. Who was the media guy that asked for transparency when it comes to Pick's videos to the gallery? I don't know. I don't know his name. Crazy how many cameras don't work in this country. Officer's body camera dies an hour 44 into his shift when those batteries can last up to 18 hours, depending on brand. Can't help but think perjury. Christ is king indeed. Yeah, I think I'm not buying it. I'm not buying the dead battery stuff. Judge Graff is amazing. IMO. I think he did an okay job today. I mean, we'll see how he continues this week. We're seeing the fruits of Andrew Wilson's teachings on AK's X account. I wonder if Andrew Wilson has access to Andrew's account because some of the verbiage and tone doesn't sound like Andrew, more aggressive like Andrew Wilson talks. I don't know hardly anything about Andrew Wilson. I mean, almost nothing. It's not a guy I followed. I've seen him do a couple foul-mouthed clips with people. That's all I've seen. I know nothing about him. 7:37 Eastern, 30,000 viewers. Hit the like. Oh, yeah, hit the like. I'm sure we're doing fine. YouTube screwed up the back end. It's got four clicks now to see the likes. It used to be one. Does the jury attend or hear what is said or presented in the preliminary hearing? Oh, no. Is it true the prosecution selects TR's attorneys? If so, how and why is that fair to TR? Or did I misunderstand? You misunderstood. You misunderstood. The defense attorneys are selected by the state. They're paid for by the state. I mean, that's the great problem with being a criminal defendant is everything is stacked against you. The judge, the prosecution, oftentimes your lawyers, all paid by the same people. All the investigators, all the police officers, same people. And it's just you hoping that you get a fair shake. Baron, thank you so much for all the hard work you do to keep us up to date on everything. Thank you. Very kind. Delightful. If I was disgusted seeing Junior walk in with EK, I know CO is beside herself. Charlie considered him a brother, and his silence says it all. I'm glad we finally got a glimpse into CK's parents. I sense disgust. I will say Mr. Kirk certainly did not appear amused with Stacy's hand reaching out to touch him. He seemed to move quickly past her. I watched Trigger Valhalla Court live stream from beginning to end and hopped over here. I'm committed. Thank you for bringing the truth. Christ is king indeed. I'm doing my best out here, Malloy. You sound educated. You know more about it than most people. Did you really just say no one has asked Aubrey for her list to send letters of evidence preservation? Is TPUSA going to sue the representation on their E&O after this? Feels negligent at best, criminal at worst. IMO. I did say that. I confirmed that with her today in writing. So no one can say it didn't happen. A crystal ball. Why was defense saying shot? No, before pics of roof and ground below, they could have set those things up prior to 10th. I felt she should have objected more. Keep in mind, nothing she says at the preliminary hearing is going to bind them in any way for trial. So it's irrelevant. So what's the takeaway from all this information today, kiddos? Jesus loves you, but your government is occupied and actively against you. Not a bad take. Someone should grandma request the UVU officer's body cam device audit trail for that day. Per Axum's documentation, a 7-column CSV gets created with battery percentage as one of the columns. Oh. Not a bad idea. Why don't you do it, Amir? I mean, what? You should be that someone. Let me know how it works out. I want the footage of Spider-Man before he ran off the roof. Yeah, well, don't we all? Don't we all? I didn't take the defense as stating they found another bullet casing. I took it as her asking if he heard of any other casing found. What's your take? Yeah, I mean, what she says is not evidence, so I don't know. Hall of Flags footage shows roof suspect running immediately after shot. No time to disassemble rifle. No bulges from rifle concealment apparent. So as to the disassembling after the shot, I want to correct this because it keeps coming up. And it comes up by people who mean well, but I think it's inaccurate. So initially, the governor of Utah held a press conference where he said that after the shot, the suspect disassembled the rifle. I don't know why he said that, but he did. Their story has changed. They no longer say he disassembled the rifle on the roof. So that has changed. Is it gravel or riverstone on the Losi building? Huge difference in my mind. I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. Good evening, B. What are your thoughts about the state presenting pure hearsay evidence after 6+ hours? It was shocking, frankly, that not one person had personal knowledge. Baron, did broadcasting help your orator skills, or did lawyering help your broadcasting skills? I think those are similar skill sets, but also have their nuances, which strengthens which, if at all. Thank you. Love you, my B. Christ is king indeed. Good question. So when I was in college, I took a lot of communications classes. I always figured I wanted to speak in public. I wasn't good at it. My COM 100 class, the very first communications class I took, was a disaster. I was so nervous. I could barely speak in front of a class of like 10 people. So I took several public communications classes in college, just as electives, just to get better at it. When I was in law school, I took every trial advocacy class I could get. I did the summer 2-week program or 1-week program, whatever it was, where you go and you study and they teach you trial advocacy skills. I thought I wanted to try cases. And in trying a bunch of cases, you naturally get better. You get better with anything you do, provided you're practicing and trying to get better. Broadcasting, I think, is its own animal. It's a totally different skill set. And I feel like when I first started broadcasting, I was an absolute nervous wreck. I said almost nothing. I said as little as I could, quickly, meekly, had no real voice for broadcasting. But over time, you find your footing. You it's just like riding a bike or roller skating. You get better over time, and you start trying new things, and you figure out what works and doesn't work. So I don't know. I'm not saying I'm great at either, but thank you for the question. That's the best I can give you. Evening, Baron. Say hi to my hubby, Joe Daddy. He's watching you live with me on Baby Girl. And Baby Girl, not on Baby Girl. We call her BBG in text. He's off the road for a few days on the road, over the road trucker fan. We love you. Keep it up. Christ is king indeed. Hey, Joe Daddy. You guys sound like you have a lot of nicknames in that family. It died. Well, the unknown man with a gun and a badge. That's crazy. Based on the evidence so far, I think it might have been me. Christ is king indeed. I hope it wasn't you. I hope the judge saw that and thought, that smells a little setty-uppy to me, if I'm being honest. Scampering and waddling. Oh, my. Yeah. What he did. My B, I'm calling it number 1 from Leeds, England. You may have it, sir. Congrats on the win last night. We watched it. Joining late, EK Doppelganger came separate to trick other blonde. And also, judge said that victims can exit and return after first or second break. Victims, but I don't know about all the crew with the victim. I think the judge is going to have to work on that. I sell guns, and I put them together. Never have I had to use a screwdriver to put one together or take apart. They say that's how you take this Mauser apart. I don't know. I don't know much about it. Amazing how all the cameras managed to fail at critical moments. What a stroke of luck. Isn't that crazy? Dairy Queen camera didn't fail. My battery died. Isn't that an admission of incompetence? Well, it's something. Edge. He signed up for this event. He'd only been on duty a couple hours, and his body cam poops. He and AK must have the same battery. Oh, that's right. Andrew's phone died as well. We forgot that. They should consult with Frank. His battery's a beast. Conclusion, liar. Oh, that's right. Oh, my gosh, Edge. What a great comment. So Andrew's phone craps out the day after the event, strangely. His phone breaks. And Frank Turek has a battery that could power a Tesla on a cross-country drive. He was on FaceTime for 7 hours. Incredible. Mr. Bagley, did you witness the two Utes enter the sack of suds? That's a great movie. That's a great movie. Your Honor, I object. Too fake and gay. Yeah, unfortunately, that's not one of the objections you're given. You're not allowed that one. That prone position print looks like a sea turtle. Yeah? Okay, I'll allow it. Found some FBI info emails. Color of the day was yellow for 910. Several field offices for all. Now I'm going to go back and look for anything yellow in crowd vids. Okay. Let me know what you find. It was Officer Doofy reporting for duty. I'll allow it. Baron, wouldn't we expect there would be much more gravel disturbed near the sniper's nest with how quickly the suspect got up and ran away after the shot? Love your insights. I don't know. I'm not familiar with sniper nest gravel disturbances. I didn't take that class. It's clear it's not. Well, it kind of seems like it with the civilian clothed, badged, gun wielding man from unknown law enforcement agency and battery at critical junction dying. Does the defense have to turn over evidence to prosecution? Of course. Of course. Safe to assume Andrew had full on Erica eyes during this epic crash out on X today. Still may. We know how badly he wants to be part of this or any high IQ outfit. AK, you're getting killed, Smalls. Not Andrew's best day. I just don't see how he stays with TPUSA. That prone position looks more like someone was making angels in the gravel. Such BS. At what point will they just stop? Christ is king and Jesus loves you. I don't know. Stop. So there's a gunman on the Losi, and you're up there with someone with a gun, but you don't know who he is. Yeah. That's precisely what the question was. So body cam went dead, but he couldn't take pics with his phone at the scene on the roof. What about body cam pic of empty holster? Keystone Cops. Well, you're giving them a lot of credit to say Keystone Cops. Guy behind EK at court, what nephew is Blake Wynn? I don't know that. I don't think that's accurate. Let's speculate. TR told his defense team he did not shoot CK. Shouldn't the defense then demand to review the autopsy report to rule out death by gunshot? I'm sure they've requested the autopsy report. I can't imagine you go to trial without that, having seen it. But do you think it's possible that they staged CK death because they were going to kill him and EK couldn't pull off grieving widow, so the plan fell apart, and CK wasn't worried about TR, no evidence, they'd make sure to get him off? I mean, is it possible? Anything's possible. I mean, space aliens may have come and planted a probe in him in the middle of the night. I don't know. It doesn't sound likely. In fact, we're supposed to be the crazy ones because we refuse to breathe this slop is both astounding and disgusting. Thanks for all you do, Baron. I'm doing my best up here. But yeah, we're the nuts ones. I don't see how anyone can watch day one and be like, oh, mountains of evidence. Weird. First lawsuit I found looks like TP representation knew how to send legal holds and preserve evidence. As recently as 2024, Caro Hogaitis versus TPUSA. I mean, I think anybody knows how to send a request to hold. State's motto is worst for first. Okay. Girls are usually put away before entering the courtroom. Only reps from TPUSA arrive in grieving outfits. Is that her grieving outfit? Oh, I hate to see her going to a club outfit. Boobs out for court. Dear Lord, these people are so out of touch. Poor Charlie's parents. I hope they know we pray for them. Kristen. Yeah, Critter. I think you're right. They are very out of touch. Out of touch. I'm not sure we want to use the phrase out of touch when talking about that subject. AK is not a studied PR man. Clearly. Clearly, he's not. He sucks at it because PR was his cover, like Ryder was Blake Neff's cover when he infiltrated Stu Peters, Tucker, and CK. All operators and handlers. True psychopathy is evident. Yeah, maybe. I'm here, mate, and I am all for it. Wow. Stacy Sheridan crawled out from under, didn't she? I mean, it honestly looks like she just got back from the club the night before and threw on a coat. Appreciate your knowledge, Baron. God bless. God bless you as well. Thank you. Why is this Star Chamber show even being allowed? It's tantamount to a humiliation ritual. It's a good question. That's a good question. We'll see if it gets better. I have to say I was very bored watching day one. Real court is nothing like TV shows. I warned you people, it's boring. I warned you by tweet. I told Matt from Trigger Smart that it's boring. He asked me if I wanted to be on. I was like, they're boring. I'll hit the highlights when I do a show. With the overwhelming feeling that TR is a patsy, is it worthwhile to send encouraging letters to him at Utah County? He should know the public believes he's a patsy. I guess send him whatever you want. I'm certainly not recommending it. You know, I'm not telling you what to do, though. Hit the like button, please. Oh, yeah, hit the like button. Are you guys doing lousy likes? What's wrong with you people? Let's see here. Oh, we've got good likes. I mean, about half of people watching, but we could do better. Okay, tighten up. Hit the likes. Hit the likes. Heavy set. I was screaming for her to do it. She would have mortified him. Yes, Jill, you sound like a trial lawyer knowing how to get an advantage over a witness, because I, thinking back, would have loved to see her do that. You said heavy set? Am I heavy set? How heavy set are we talking? You would have seen her get the total upper hand over a witness in one question. Officer Bagley looks like the kind of dude that has stuff on his computer the FBI found to make him a patsy. Couldn't have been less credible. Well, I'm not going to go that far. He might look like it, but I'm not going to accuse him of it. B, body cam only turns on when activated. It would not have even been on for the hour. It also alerts on the cam that the battery's low. What? Wait, did he say stranger with gun was his backup? Yes. And there are some body cams that can continually record. But yes, he did say a stranger with a gun and an unknown badge was his backup. He wasn't heavy set. Officer Low Battery Bagley. Useful idiot. Low Battery Bagley. I like that. No Battery Bagley. That's funny. You made me laugh. So Frank Turk's phone battery lasted longer than Barney Fife's body cam battery. Thanks for all you do. Christ is king indeed. Frank, we hear it lasts a long time. The battery on your phone. Am I heavy set? I haven't laughed in a week. Thank you for that. Well, thank you, Boise Jet guy. Appreciate or Egyptian Jet guy now. Hi, Baron. So when the trial does start, if the defense does concede a gunshot, you think that would mean they're in on it. So afraid that's where this is heading, that even Tyler knows the outcome. Hate to be that cynical. Let's wait and see. I mean, let's see how it progresses. I don't want to make that call right now. I was unaware Deputy Dewey had been cast in the movie about the demise of Charlie Kirk. Yeah. Would you have any high IQ advice for my daughter, Josie, who just graduated high school early at 15? This proud mama may be your number one fan from world famous Courthouse Tower Tree, Greensburg, Indiana. Christ is king indeed. World famous, you say? I don't know. I mean, coach her up. You're her mom. Or dad. Joni, I'm guessing you're a mom. I really don't have advice. I don't know. I didn't have a kid graduate at 15. I don't have a comparison. Depends on what she wants to do. Like if she wants to be a doctor, she got to go to college. She wants to be an accountant, she has to go to college. Engineer has to go to college. But there's a lot of jobs that don't require it. Maybe take a year of just working and see how she likes it. I don't know what you can do at 15. So the unknown, unidentified offer in civvies could have been the suspect as far as that officer would know, which wasn't much. Yeah. Could have been anybody with a badge they bought on, at Party City. There's no crash out like an Andrew Kolvet crash out. No, there's not. They're bad. Baron, Your Honor, I've never laughed this hard from any of your other shows. You are comedically summarizing today's court session. Well done, sir. I'm doing my best up here. I'm just being myself. Ozempic American. It was Officer Tater Tot. Yeah, he was an Ozempic American. I forgot about that. I did say that, didn't I? As coach's lawyer, he doesn't know yet. I have no other choice but to fine you, sir, for that use of mama and mountain of evidence. Amount to be determined. I'll allow it. Just keep it double digits. First time in Super Chat, I watch you faithfully right after Candace. This is looking like a kangaroo court. The American people need to really pay attention because this matters on a much bigger scale. Well, for a first-time Super Chatter, you didn't have trouble yelling in the courtroom. I'll allow it. Thank you. Welcome in. Welcome in. From that state, and can you say 99% sure he's from here? Oh, Australia. He's Australian, mate. How you know he's not a Zealander or whatever they call him? Kiwi. And Ozempic American. Laughing so much. Girls out. Yes. Both very true. Both very true. Baron, I'm just joining in. Wanted to draw the parallel between intelligence assets and major political figures. The format for a time was in things like the president's daily brief. I believe that. Ozempic American. Yeah. I didn't realize I was going to hit like that. I just said it in the moment. I didn't even have that one planned. In his testimony, he said he first saw the screwdriver, which is why he went over there contradicting the video where he says he finds the prints first. Well, imagine that. Imagine that. The guy's contradicting himself. I can only imagine how good of a lawyer you were. If you're anything like you are on this podcast, you must have dominated the courtroom. I just stick your breakdowns going forward. Well, I didn't have quite as much fun in court, but I enjoyed it. But you got to, it's a serious decorum. Judges aren't up there with propellers on their hats, Might be. I just had to send you a super so I can borrow the rights to Ozempic American on the job site tomorrow. Thank you, sir. Yeah, you can have it. You can have it. Charlie was a willing asset who changed. You don't surround yourself only with the likes of Blake Neff and company and lie for our greatest ally for years by mistake. Maybe. I don't know. My heart aches for Tyler's parents. Yeah, all that conversation today about who was there for Erica, and not one person mentioned who was there for Tyler that I could see. I don't even know. Might be. Fun fact, Agent Poso, a.k.a. Jack Posobiec, has a comic book written about him. It did not disappoint. Check your inbox if you want a good laugh. Well, thank you. I'll check it out. Sounds fun. An officer responded to a gunshot, approached the location from where he thinks the shot was taken. He was followed by a man in civilian clothes who had a gun. And he never thought to ask, hey, who the hell are you? Wow. Well, that's his story. Random man in civvies with gun at the scene of a shooting. Come on up, Buster Brown. I pray that TR's lawyers are watching all of your shows religiously. That would be the smartest decision in the case. Christ is king indeed. I don't know what they're doing. There was a guy in the crowd that had a badge on, and he pulled it off his shirt when he saw the camera pointed at him. Yeah, I remember that. He had a mustache. Did you notice Tucker's facial expressions when Andrew talked about removing the SD card? It seemed like he thought it's sus. God bless the community. Yeah, I saw that. I noticed. Go Max Bear. It sickens me when I go on my X feed is filled with Andrew and Blake lying, sharing propaganda. How do they sleep at night, man? I don't know. Maybe they believe it. Utah, the only state you can get probable cause from a Ouija board and a vision of the shaman's baby daddy. Yeah, it's starting to look that way. I'm sorry, but I couldn't take it anymore. I wanted to keep going, but the weather was so hot and I was overheating badly, so my owner ended my pain turned me off. With regards, Officer Bagley's body cam. That might have been what happened. Good call. Thank you, Baron, for keeping us updated throughout this trial. Your knowledge will be unmatched. Well, thank you. I don't know about unmatched. There's a lot of good people doing good work out there, but I appreciate your faith. I know Ozempic American. Yeah, well, it just sort of came out. The SD cards were paved over. SD card emergency. That's what it's starting to sound like. Where are the SD cards? The who chose this juris? Why here? Well, maybe we're starting to learn. Edge. Haven't finished yesterday's episode due to life. Well, beats the alternative. Sorry if mentioned, the false eyelashes aren't unusual if a lady doesn't want her fake tears to ruin her mascara. Was not mentioned. Thank you, Baron. I love the thought that TR's defense team is watching. Please, God, keep Tyler safe. Owens for dictator. 2028. Christ is king indeed. I would serve in that administration. I'd rather be the dictator, but I'll serve in that administration. Andrew's an idiot. Why else would Candace be going through all of this? Of course they were friends. Christ is king indeed. Well, you could have just stopped after that first sentence. You think maybe Andrew Wilson was hired to respond to debates with Candace and AK? The crash out doesn't sound like him. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't put a lot of thought into that guy. I don't really know who he is. I did a small bit of prep because we did a segment on him the other day in terms of who all TPUSA is hiring. But he's not someone I followed closely, so I don't know his language well enough to know if that sounds like him or not. Did you see anything that hurt Tyler today? Go back over my notes. It's a good question. No, because even all the video footage they claimed they got from TPUSA, none of it showed Tyler Robinson. Like, they had a camera on the questioner. That didn't show Tyler Robinson. They had a camera on Charlie. That didn't show Tyler Robinson. They had a camera from the back, but we saw the vision they had. That did not cover Tyler Robinson. I didn't see a thing. I mean, maybe the gray car showing up at 1:30 at night or 1 o'clock, whatever time that was. Maybe you could say that. I mean, that car. But, can you put him in the car? I mean, we're talking reasonable doubt here. Can you put him in that car? I didn't see anything that put him in the car. So I don't know. Andy doesn't know how close they actually were. Doesn't sound like it. Should I go stand outside the courthouse with a sign that says TPUSA equals toilet paper USA? I would love ideas for signs. Please share your idea for a sign. Helga Shabalaba Ding Dong. I don't recommend it. Just let it take place. I don't recommend interfering in any way. If you want to go observe, but don't. I wouldn't cause a scene. If only Officer Bagley had the same battery life in his body cam that Frank Turek has on his phone, he'd still be recording 10 months later. CK was a lying manipulator like them, or he wasn't. Oh, yeah, either or, one or the other. 3 cameras, 1 Rode mic, 4 files. I didn't see one that was labeled a Rode mic. I saw all video files. And pull it back up. I don't see any of those that would be a video file. These videos labeled. No, he said all 4 were videos. He didn't say any of them were audio. So I'm gonna dispute that. Terryl gave SBI vid links, not original SD card. That's his testimony. Shout out from Mom, Kaylin and Darren. High IQ kids. Christ is king indeed. I'm sure they are if they're your kids. I would expect nothing less. Candace going max on Andrew, and we are all here for it. Christ is king indeed. Left my family dinner to watch this. Oh. Sorry, guys. Please accept my deepest and sincerest apologies. And Ozempic American, B. Coleman, 2026. Well, yeah, they're out there. Charlie insisted he would not end his friendship shortly before his death as a moron or a liar, one or the other. Not sure if mentioned, but body cam do give 3 types of warning. If battery is about to be empty, you don't see it in the video, but it is on the body cam log. Okay, we need to get the log. So I hope the defense has the log. I'm pretty sure there's a clip of Blake laughing like a Jack Heine where Andrew's explaining Charlie doesn't lie. Love the show. Yeah, I played it on here. We talked about it. I think I called it a maniacal cackle. If they weren't friends, why did Trump ask CK to call CO about Macron's hubby? That's a great question. That's a really good question. Nicely put together, Mary Kendrick. Great addition to the program. Had SD card been turned over, deleted files could be recovered. Many investigators don't know there are programs for that. Helped get a conviction for the voyeurism case. RT my kids. Hand over the card, Terryl. Christ is king indeed. Terryl. Card. Donde. Okay, Your Majesty. I'm sorry I'm a little behind, but the heavy set crash out has me in tears. Well, sorry. Should have asked you my heavy set. I cannot breathe. I wish you were doing the closing. Well, I just want to question that officer. B, had me rolling after Ozempic American. In my opinion, defense shouldn't only object on constitutional basis. The mountain of evidence is a molehill. Now, they'll have a chance to make that case to the judge. I think Candace needs to remind everyone that she has a dead man switch. She said it in the beginning of the investigation, but she has a lot more evidence now and should remind everyone. Andrew, give me the creeps. Well, that goes without saying. Is that Blake Wynn in the court by his sister? I don't know. I don't think so. I wish Charlie was still there to tell a funny story of him and Candace in Jerusalem. I'm pretty sure that's when Farnsworth said she saw Charlie Kirk for the first time. It is. Yeah, same trip. What do you think about Officer Chris Bagley not having his body cam fully charged, lost battery, and the gun holster he didn't pick up? Thanks. I've commented on both. I've commented at length on the body cam battery. We don't know that it was actually a dead battery. You're giving him a lot of faith. This is a guy who stormed the Losi Center with an unknown man in civilian clothing and a gun. And a badge he didn't verify and doesn't remember what agency it was from. So let's not take him at his word. Okay. I think it's safe to say we can disregard some of the things he said. As to the gun holster, yeah, I mean, I think he should have at least alerted someone to it, you know. SD card is also a flash drive. USB and SD are both flash. Correct. Well, I think technically correct. However, in his statement, he doesn't mention handing over the SD card. He says he provided it by Google Drive. That's all he says. I think AK was originally sent to handle CK, but when they realized how close his friendship was with Candace, they had to send EF to handle him in his personal life. Charlie required multiple handlers. That's, not out of the realm of possibility. Thank you, Baron. Explaining today legal proceedings, several terms and details I know nothing about. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and continuing your search for truth. Christ is King indeed. Thank you. I'm doing my best up here. Merch idea. Never forget Caesar Rodney, 7/2/1776. Yeah, Caesar Rodney had quite the ride. Yeah, it would be nice to draw attention to the man from Delaware. Charlie told AK we don't lie when speaking on CK Pod with Tucker. Yeah, that's true. Did AK forget he shared his memory of Charlie? When AK wanted to lie to someone and solve a problem, Charlie reminded him we don't lie. Well, Charlie's not here anymore, and Andrew seems to be full of it. Why have all convos come in the last 3 months? Christ is King. I don't know that I know what that means. I thought Charlie Kirk told Andrew we don't lie. Yeah, well. If no additional evidence comes out in these proceedings, they're all cooked. Saw nothing today and don't expect after today. I think they're relying on the text messages. I think they're going to try to fry him on the text messages. That might get you to trial, but that's not going to get you convicted. I got bad news. They better have something better than that. AK tried to smear Charlie Kirk back in 2018 or so. Does anyone remember the home video she leaked out making Charlie look bad? He wouldn't let her take the car to get grocery store, and then all of a sudden it went away. Christ is King indeed. I don't remember. Clip that. Daisy, do you remember that? I don't remember that. He said night before, I'm thinking about getting Candace back. No other choice but to leave the pro greatest ally cause. They're walking all over his legacy. Candace trying to keep his legacy alive. He is proud of his friend. And so, blah, at EK, AK, and Blake. Yeah, all that's correct. They just keep digging themselves a deeper hole. It's a bad habit they have. Flock Safety had a huge footprint in Ogden last September. Some officers, FBI searched vehicles. None of them were a sports muscle car at all. Check email. Thanks for your work. Okay. Hold on. Flock Safety, huge footprint in Ogden. Some officers. Okay, thank you. With the entire media deep state apparatus against Candace at the time, if they were not friends, why not denounce her then? Yeah. I mean, the whole thing is ludicrous. Can we get some merch? I have questions. Love you, my B. Hope to be lucky enough to have a friend like Candace, an attorney like you, should I ever need one. Christ is King indeed. Keep going, Max. Don't get yourself in a position where you need a lawyer. How about that? Let's just settle on that. Thank you. Very kind. Very kind. Do you think CK's team kept him from X so Charlie wouldn't see Erica's past? No, because, I mean, you can search X without a password. You just can't say anything. TPUSA has been more like Scientology the further we go. Scientologist handbook states ruin them utterly, no matter how. Andrew is showing this, as well as calling TPUSA the org. I'm very unfamiliar with Scientology, I'll admit. I know almost nothing about it. I know there was a guy named L. Ron Hubbard. He wrote a book, and I know that a lot of people follow some methodology he created. I know nothing about it. Thank you. I didn't think AK realizes what he's doing to Charlie's legacy. If he does, he's evil. Oh, I think he does. I think he's desperately thrashing around and willing to take Charlie down to save himself. Love you, B. Best show ever. Justice for Charlie. Well, we're doing our best here. Thank you, Renee. My father passed away yesterday. Oh my gosh, 95 and strong until the end. I'm only sad because he isn't physically present. A Christian man, daily Bible. Can't imagine the glory he's experiencing. Christ is king indeed. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful story. You almost can't be sad. Someone dies at 95. I mean, you are, but you can't be, right? That's a long life. My condolences to you, genuinely. Why is nobody looking at We Are Not Going to Mars? X theory that explains every single thing, including a laser to the back of Charlie's head. I find his theory evidence very interesting. I think it's his presentation. I watched the video, but I think his presentation was not ideal. It makes it hard to disseminate. Sneff telling CO, luckily, we don't need an influencer campaign. We have medical examiner is very sus to me. Maybe the reason they met with him after CO saw the back footage. Terrifying. I don't know that they met. I don't know when they met with the examiner, but I will say this. I think, and I'll look this up and I'll have these facts at some point. I think there's a law in Utah about when the medical examination has to be done and complete and signed. And I think they wanted to see about how widely disseminated the back footage was before finishing it. That's my gut. My guess is it's like 10 or 12 days and they were running up against a deadline, but I got to check that out. Andrew Wilson couldn't commit his daily little question for you more than 3 days. I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. Ignore all the Candace opinions in relationship with Charlie. Look only at the objective facts presented, Barron and others. And TPUSA, along with the feds, still smell rotten. Yes. Yes. We all remember AK saying, Charlie told me we don't ever lie. Ugh, I was married to a narcissist. It's like reliving that nightmare. You calling Andrew a narcissist? Great closing argument against Andrew Kolvet. Christ is king. Go Max. Barron. Well, I just had to get a few things off my chest. To clarify, all evidence seems to have come recently. Evidence in the case? I don't know what you mean. Charlie wasn't afraid of Candace, but I'm sure he was concerned with the rabid individuals who want everyone to denounce her at every turn. Kolvet is a liar. Well, we agree on that. He admitted it. He admitted his instinct was to lie. I'm not speaking out of turn here. Body cam footage dying conveniently when he's on the roof is strikingly similar in Karen Reed trial when they butt dialed each other repeatedly. AK, BN, and EK are evil, pathological liars. Go Max B, Christ is king indeed. Well, he's certainly acting like it. Or he's calling Charlie Kirk one. I'm so thankful I never watched the footage of the Big Bang. I fell to my knees when I came in from walking the dog when the television said he'd been shot. Thank you for all you do. Love you, and Christ is king. Yeah, if you don't have to watch it and you don't have a reason to, it's gruesome. It's not worth watching. Ivan, Andrew, take a good look in the mirror. Are you proud of what you see? Hell is waiting. Oh my gosh. Christ is king indeed. Ivan is blunt. Ivan is blunt. Haven't been able to watch live. Miss everyone. Moving in to help with first grandson, born with ultra rare condition. RARB. On 70 cases worldwide. Pray for him. Christ is king indeed. I will do that. Ain't noticing. We'll do that. I don't know what RARB is. Ultra rare neurodevelopmental disease caused by mutations in the RARB gene. I'm sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. Baron, you just went Max. Well, I've just went just myself, just being myself. Feel that AK should take my screen name. Andrew, I will give it to you if you truthfully answer a question about a question of our humble host choosing. He'd just lie. Snake bite. I honestly feel like you just lie. He's just, I think, a deeply dishonest person. I have no other explanation for how he's acting right now. Ozempic American. Sorry, I'm late. Well, it's okay. It's okay. We had our moment. I skipped my ultra classes to be here. Well, you're going to get caught up. Charlie was anything but a liar. Someone needs to remind Andrew that he is the villain. And Charlie texted him, "We don't lie." Why so triggered, Andrew? Sean Ryan episode broke him. Praying for you, B. I think you're right. I think there's something to that. The Sean Ryan episode was devastating to their cause, and they're having trouble recovering. It humanized Candace first. It gave her credibility being on a top 5 podcast, not her own. And it, they just can't contend with what she says. So they just lash out. And the only thing they can do is act like that we don't lie business is telling, because if he's telling Andrew privately, we don't lie, that means we don't lie. That means we don't lie to Candace either. And on text behind her back. New viewer here. Glad I found you in my timeline. Follow Candace and Fredo too. Charlie Kirk doesn't deserve this. Thank you, B. Thank you, Donna Bailey. Thanks for joining the program. Enjoyed it. I'm glad you're here. Baron, funny how Andrew Kolvet said that Charlie said no one on his team should tell a lie and that he would not let him lie when he wanted to. You and Daisy are amazing. Keep going, Max. Well, we're doing our best. Yeah, you guys are making an excellent point. Charlie is the one who told Andrew we don't lie. And now you're saying Charlie lied all the time. And so which is it? Either they do or don't, either he does or doesn't lie. You're saying he does. I wouldn't want to be you right now. I would not want to be you going to the donors saying Charlie Kirk was an unadulterated liar. If you hurry, you may be able to find discount fireworks for the funeral. Sorry, I had to. Prayers for you and Jeff's friends and family. Oh, because of Erica. Yeah, we don't grieve that way around here. That's not how we grieve. Skylark, my cousin Vinny joke. Yes, I understand. I got it. I feel bad for CK's parents. They are unknowingly or maybe in a pit of vipers with little protection. Christ is king indeed. Yeah. Starting to seem that way. If Andrew really knew how much Charlie disliked Candace, why would he respond to her at all after he was shot? That's a good question. If they weren't friends, why was Andrew engaging with her at all? Apparently, he had so many text messages that his phone broke. Why would he choose to respond to her of all the different people he needs to respond to? Andrew, you don't look good here, baller. You look bad. I feel people overlooking what TPUSA was turned into after 2020, a massive vote-getting machine. That's what bad actors want to control without Charlie. I think it's a money laundering scheme, but whatever. Do you think the weird route they drove to the hospital was to avoid flock cameras? I don't know what route I don't know is that weird. I mean, I looked at a map. It looked pretty normal. Crescendo. Was that the word I'm looking for? That's not the word I'm looking for. It builds to a crescendo, but there's some word for the end of a fireworks episode, a fireworks show. Finale. That's the word I'm looking for. The finale. The finale. If they have a video of the shooter running off the roof, wouldn't that mean they have a video of him taking the shot? Allegedly. They say they do. We haven't seen it. Still no proof TR was even on campus at all. Not yet. Not yet. I stopped reassembling my 30-06 without a screwdriver in the woods. Hope you saw my explanation of that. Bagley, the jerk movie. I'm blind. It's finale. Finale. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, finale. Yeah, the jerk was funny. It was very funny. What's the guy's name? Steve. Oh, gosh. Does it mean I'm getting old? I can't remember things like that. My favorite is that they put the screwdriver found on the roof into evidence when it would have been required to reassemble the rifle that was later left in the park. Yes, he brought it back up. Yeah, again, I hope you guys heard my explanation of that. I think the governor has been, I think they've adopted a different story that doesn't require a screwdriver. Maybe that's because he left it. Dude, Bagley says he jumped over people going down the stairs to help arrest shooter, then later realizes it came later, and he called himself a professional. Yeah. Baron, phenomenal show today. The Handler opening, trial summary, fantastic. Thank you. Message to Andrew, powerful and moving. Thanks. Wow. Trying to get on my good side? Hi, Baron. Don't have social media, nor want to. Can you please tell us what happened with AK on X? So those of us that don't have X can know. Thank you. I hope you saw that part. You commented after I did that, so I hope you saw it. If not, hit rewind. I did a whole segment on it. The way Candace talks about the JE and TPUSA connection, do you think TPUSA was becoming the next front for underlying JE-style crimes? The bad people would have wanted a way for the crimes to continue. I think they moved a lot of those types of crimes into the nonprofit space. TPUSA is a nonprofit. Everybody associated with TPUSA seems to be like 1 degree removed from that industry. So I don't know. TPUSA 1.0, Charlie Kirk, we don't lie. TPUSA 2.0, Erica Sneff, trust me, bro. I'm sure you met Andrew, Erica. Love you, Baron. High IQ and such good work for Charlie. Sure, he is cheering you and Candace on. And his grand finale. That's correct. All the best, Christ is King indeed. I couldn't think of it. Lost my father in 2024, still grieving. EK's a joke, so happy. I caught your live, even if the ended of it. I'm glad you're here too, Laura. I think I know what you meant, but thank you. And I'm sorry you're still grieving. You've been a healing force for the grief we and Candace have had since Charlie Kirk's life was ended. I will forever thank God for you, your family, and team. Christ is King indeed. Well, thank you. That's humbling. That's very humbling. I wonder how many of the parties involved lie because they think their true alibis and testimonies more destructive than the truth, i.e. no alibi because the alibi was cheating on their wives or something similar. Oh, gosh. I don't know. Andrew lies worse than Jack Hibbs Rugg. He lies worse than Jack Hibbs Rugg. Yeah. Remember, Jack got caught lying too. They all lied. They've all been caught changing their stories. And Jack told one Fox News, I think it was, that his brother, Butch, called him from the scene and he could hear the chaos in the background. And then he tells Frank Turek, I can't remember if it was you or Mikey who called me first. And I was shocked when I got the call. Well, you weren't shocked when Butch called? Nashville fan. Number one Nashville fan. We need a meme of AK in a dunce hat. I'm not opposed. My B, claiming number one for Pawpaw, Michigan. A town so nice you got to say it twice. Thank you for going, Max, especially on X today. Praying for you. God bless. Christ is King indeed. Yeah. Not my finest moment saying an ugly word, but when you don't say them a lot, they have more meaning. Thank you for prayers for my dad, Rodney. Slow progressing leukemia, which was the best of the options. Promising clinical trial over the next few months. I will say prayers for your dad, Rodney. I hate that. Went to court in Union, New Jersey, 2001 for a big fight. I think his girlfriend walked in all Sheridan. He sent her home to change. Look into Ken Clement up. Good on that judge. Good on that judge. The judge should have sent her home. Stacy today should have said, no. You don't wear that into court. Baron, it might have been Bigfoot on the roof. He's never confidently captured on camera, and when he is, it's blurry. That's a good point. It looked just like him. They even had the long arm motion there. Perhaps Tracy thought she was attending court from the 16th century. Henry VIII's court comes to mind. Talking about Stacy. You can request body cam logs from the company. It should indicate whether battery died, user turned off, etc. You can. Let me know what they say. Grand finale. Yes. The grand finale. Andrew may have controlled Charlie's Twitter, but not his texts. Charlie loved Candace. I think you guys are right. New color name, Battle Bun Red Hoodie. Oh, this is my angry hoodie. I wear this when I'm mad. Or the black hoodie when I got to bury someone. They did to Charlie what they've been doing to Palestinians. Kill him in front of the world. Denied it. Took over hard-earned assets. Claimed it as theirs and hoping we'll accept the narrative and just forget. Wow. Those are harsh words. Charlie, support for Candace on Brad Lee podcast. I believe you. Was the first officer witness in any prior Google search trends? Any of the witnesses? Oh, I don't know. I haven't looked them up. Probably late now. Unrelated question. Are familiar with LawTube? If so, what are your thoughts on them? Watched many trials with their commentary. What are your thoughts about them and competency? Thanks. I don't know that I have any thoughts. Familiar, know who they are, but Maybe lack of zzz and spiked drink to event causing the dozing off to lessen incoming blow. I don't know. TP has me wondering all possibilities. Oh. Maybe they spiked his drink so that he would be tired. Or kept him up late. I don't know. AK, he lied about you to placate you. AK, look at his text from Charlie when he immediately says we don't lie. Lie is being exposed. Hard to keep up. Yeah. I think you guys have nailed it all. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I'm going to hang up and listen. If TR is presumed innocent until proven guilty, why is he rotting in jail until the trial, maybe a few more years? Yeah, it's a quirk in the law. It's a quirk in the law. You're innocent until proven guilty, but at the same time, they can take your freedom away without a charge. I mean, without he hadn't even been charged. I guess charged. He hadn't been in. They haven't had a preliminary hearing. They haven't cleared the first legal hurdle that usually takes place pretty quickly. It's a legal quirk. You were right. Tyler was arrested on September 11th. I hope the defense mentions it when they cross tomorrow. I mean, that's what the documents say. I have no reason to doubt the documents. We'll see. Stacey Sheridan's attire reminds me of Jennifer Tilley, the plaintiff in Liar Liar, with her attorney Jim Carrey. I saw that, but it was many years ago, and I don't remember. Howdy, humble host. So TR's attorney also repped Corey Richins not long ago. She seemed like she had it way more together today than in that trial. What do you think? I didn't watch a lot of that trial. But yeah, I tend to agree that she did a pretty good job today. I can't compare it to the other one. I don't know what that means. Do you think the guy with the badge had a device that could disable recording devices so the body cam would turn off and the screwdriver could be planted? Maybe. I don't know. I hadn't considered that. Like a little mini EMP or something to blast it. I don't know. B, I'm icky. Need a few days to get better. Well, Moon Goddess, we're hoping for the best. Let us know how it works out. I left handler school pretending to learn my Bible for 8 months to be here. Yeah, I wonder what she was doing. Baron, can you please leave comments on the screen until you completely finish responding before displaying that comment? I try to. I think I do. Maybe sometimes I don't. About the unintended assets, back when they were used to call them governeds, govnoeds. Anyone real interest in that? That guy? Okay, thank you. I want to see the body cam being shutting down. Does the hand match Bagley's? Or was someone waiting up there? I don't know. Why did your stream cut and skip ahead on Bullet Super? I don't know. I didn't know it did. Make sure it's healthy. Seems to be up. Check and see if there's been any issues. It seems fine. Yeah, I mean, everything looks like it's going swimmingly. I don't know. Check with your local broadband service provider. Maybe they'll know. AK's a gaslighter. Candace's actions speak louder than his words. P.S. Number one BK fan. I don't know what BK is. Burger King? You're number one Burger King fan? You're sitting there eating a Whopper? PPS, any single men in New York City in the chat? A 38F. Tired of Hinge. And she likes Fraggle Rock, boys. She had HBO as a kid. She comes from money. She comes from money, guys. She had HBO as a kid. You know. Take her up. Be great. So grateful for your high IQ mind to deliver us a high IQ outfit. Thank you, Baron, for all you do. Your legal expertise is invaluable to Charlie's investigation. In my opinion, you are God ordained for this time. Christ is King indeed. That's very kind, very humbling. And Coach's Live stole your welcome in. I believe you can sue him $3.33 or call it even. I'll wait to see what my fine is. I'll double it and send it back. I did not know he was stealing this. Speak, oh exalted one. Coleman Court rundown. Yeah. Day one. I had a thought. Our high IQ family would all gather and say a prayer today for Candace and for justice. Maybe it will reach heaven for Charlie. Jesus Christ is King. Yeah, pray. I encourage prayer, profligate prayer. Pray without ceasing, the Apostle Paul would say. Baron, you won over my husband, but about lost me with a particular steamy and greasy one. So I thank you for all you do. Well, I'm glad, take the bitter with the sweet. So just as Brendan said. I was talking to you while listening. I have it all the time. I have that all the time. Every time I fall, not every time, but often when I fall asleep to a podcast, I'm on the podcast. That's how I'm going to feel tomorrow talking to Buckley and Clint. Wouldn't the body cam video show a low battery symbol in the corner before it dies? I don't know. I'm getting mixed reviews on that. If TR disassembled a rifle on the roof, why would it look like a rifle when the officer saw him? I hope you saw my explanation for that earlier. If not, rewind. I talked about it. Asking a favor, but understand if you're unable to accommodate, could you read the full comment on Super Chat? I listen while driving a truck, but I get serious FOMO when you stop halfway through, tempted to look at my phone. I typically read them all. I mean, sometimes I don't. Or sometimes I stop and start answering it, but if I pull one up, I try to read the whole thing unless it's like foul or something. My sisters and I had honorary Smokey the Bear, Forest, Ranger, badges at 7 to 10 years old in the mid-1970s. Okay, I wonder where this is going. Anyone can get a badge. Referring to the civilian accompanying officer on the roof. Yeah, okay. I hope he didn't pull out the Smokey the Bear Forest Ranger badge. If Candace and Charlie weren't close, why did Andrew Kolvet call her the day he died and the days following? Why did he share the screenshot? Weird. All good questions. She needs to ask those. Check all the planes going in and out of Utah. Done. I remember shaking and being in total shock the first time I watched it. I was at a pew-pew range for my 14th wedding anniversary. I honestly haven't felt the same since. Keep going as a lonely Minnesota mom. This community has given me so much. Go Max. I think a lot of us were genuinely disturbed by it. And I think that genuine disturbance has led to a now going on 10-month investigation into who killed Charlie Kirk, how, and why. Charlie flat out told Andrew on the Charlie Kirk show, we don't lie here. Andrew said that he himself was guilty of telling a lie. Andrew's just a habitual liar. Nothing he says can be trusted. I have trouble disagreeing with that. I mean, you laid it out perfectly. Watched with Matt and Nate today. Everyone looking for you. Prosecution said TR's car seen late evening 9/11, but he was not in custody by 6:25 9/11. More evidence of setup. I think they misspoke. I think they meant late evening of 9/10, but I could be wrong. I was sickened watching Charlie die, and not one of his so-called friends rushed to him as he fell. They cowered or walked away with no thought for Charlie. So heartbreaking. Man, the way you put it, that was harsh. I don't mean that in a bad way to you. I just hadn't really thought of it that way. Grand finale. Yeah. Hey, Baron, can Big Island, Hawaii get a shout out? Christ is King indeed. Sure. To all our homies in the Big Island. No widow would allow their loved one's legacy, essence of who they were. Yet EK is allowing AK and TPUSA to destroy who Charlie was, saying he was dishonest. I'm telling you, if I'm Erica, and say I'm Erica and I really love Charlie, I would be beside myself with someone walking all over his dead body like that. I'd be like, no, you're gone, bud. You cannot talk about my husband that way. What did Trump do for CK as a result of his relationship with his architect father? Quid pro quo, buyer's remorse. I don't even know they knew each other. I mean, Trump ran a big org. Mr. Kirk was an architect for a big org. I don't think it was like he and Donnie were rubbing elbows and high-fiving each other at the site. Curious as to why Officer Bagley is no longer with UVUPD. Left 5 months ago. Do you think we will find out? I heard he got a cush job at a new location down in Spanish Fork. That's what I heard. I might be thinking of somewhere else. And I think it was more money or whatever. That's just what I heard. 1 Timothy 5:6, widow, but she who lives in pleasure is dead even while she lives. TPUSA forgot that one. Convenient. Wow. And fighting words. There are toys, liquor bottles, home decor, tools, etc., whose shape is consistent with a rifle. Are these people for real? Go Max. And not only that, like one of the theories could be the guy on the roof was a spotter. Like there are lots of things for spotting that are long. I mean, there's just a ton of stuff. You can't fry someone over, oh, he had something long in his hand. Candace made Charlie real, and you could tell she had a beautiful friendship, unlike EK. Well, do the prosecution at prelim have to show all the evidence they have, or can they withhold until trial so defense can't cross? Oh, yeah, they can withhold, and they are. They're not putting anybody up. My B, please pray. I have a disease, optic nerve atrophy. Lost my license 3 years ago at 23. I found a clinic in Germany that treats what I have. I put down a deposit for treatment today. Husband and I will go over in December. Wow, I will pray for you. Optic nerve atrophy. I've never heard of it. I do pray for you, though. If Bagley perjured himself lying about a body cam, will it change any of the admitted evidence? Fruit of the poisonous tree. That's not. I don't think that's a proper application of the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine. A classic fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine is you search a home and you don't have a warrant and it's an illegal search and you found a machine gun. You can't use that because it was the fruit of a poisonous tree. And you don't have to give it back, but you can't take him to trial and say, here he had a machine gun. He's illegal. He can't have a machine gun. So that's the more classic example there. Or they get a warrant for one room and they look in another room and ignoring plain view doctrine, but they walk in, they open a drawer. Fruit of the poisonous tree. You can't use that. That's a more classic example. Recognizing when a real anti-war voice gets taken out and asking who benefits the moment that voice went silent. Keep up the great work. Salam. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to ask who benefits because it's becoming increasingly obvious. I slipped out of my husband's funeral to watch this. Oh, gosh. I hope that was a joke. Recovery time for sicky icky, so no PT homework. No, you need to stretch, girl. Please call out Section 219. I don't know much about it. We'll bind U.S. I believe you. We'll lose bit of sovereignty. I totally believe you, but we're not talking about that. Like, I'm not opposed to your position, but that's not really what we're talking about. B, when the judge allowed evidence without date and time, I immediately thought of the video of TR turning himself in. Thoughts? Yeah, I didn't think of that, but that's a good connection. Mrs. Swan. That guy published New Lies for Old in 1984. 10 years later, a methodical U.S. analysis by Mark Reibling evaluated his geopolitical predictions, one of two. I hope we're going somewhere with number 2. Such as the calculated into the Soviet Union, the result, an empirical accuracy rate of nearly 94%. His predictions came true precisely. Well, thank you. I don't know what any of that meant, but thank you. Any word if Blake is related to James Jimmy Neff from Southern Air Transport that purchased the plane company used for the Iran-Contra and then by Einstein? No, that's a great question. That's a great question. Let's look and see what we can find real fast. Well, let's see. I don't know. That's interesting. I'll have to look into it. I mean, Neff isn't that unusual of a name. You can't say every Neff is related. But yeah, that's interesting. I have to look into it. That's something I've never even considered. Did not asking about the line of sight with the tent set up, tent up hurt defense. Seems like a missed opportunity to discredit his witness. Can't confirm line of sight tented. So I think what you're asking is, so Bagley was on the Hall of Flags. It's a great question. I thought about it. He's on the Hall of Flags. Would he have been able to see Charlie? Because he claimed he saw Charlie slump to the left or saw his right side or whatever. I don't know. I mean, you better know the answer to the question before you ask it. It might be better to figure it out and hold it off till trial. If it turns out it's impossible, why would you blow that here? It's kind of a waste. So that's a good thought, though. Good thought. Guys, we've reached the end of another great episode. I think. I'm humble, but I think it was pretty good. If you enjoyed it as much as I did, please hit the like button, or even half as much as I did. Hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe, click the notifications. You can check out the Clips channel, Baron Coleman Clips. We're putting new clips up there every day. We got a great editor. He's doing a great job. So he will be kind of managing the load over there. And it's a fantastic opportunity to get little clips that you can share with your friends and family. Get them hooked on the big shebang. Or just have them smile and say, thank you. That was a nice clip. I appreciate that. But it's always a fun time over there. If you want some merch, realbaronpodcast.com. But while you're doing all this, I think it's very important that you never forget that Jesus loves you. I will remind you, I will be off the air tomorrow. I have a funeral in the morning. And then just about the time I get out of that, I have to hustle home to do my podcast with Buckley Carlson and Clint Russell over at Liberty Lockdown. That probably won't be viewable tomorrow. He may put a clip up or something, but it'll probably not be until Wednesday that comes out. So I, in all likelihood, will not be on tomorrow afternoon or evening. I might join one of the other podcasts that are kind of doing a rundown afterwards just to give my thoughts if I have any strong thoughts, but I haven't thought about that yet. Wednesday we'll be back. We'll do a show, probably a little recapping and then anything else that we've come up with between now and then, back on Thursday as well. And then we'll do a member show on Friday. And if this is still going on Friday, maybe we'll do a long member show and just sort of watch and comment together. I don't know how we'll handle that, but we'll figure it out. We got 3 days to figure it out. But I will see you guys soon. I will see you Wednesday regardless. And I hope you have a wonderful evening. Talk to you soon.